good.
Well, I got tequila, but don't don't dust it.
Are you drinking some gift whiskey?
Is this off limits?
No. You drink
I
it.
don't have it.
Dude, this comment I wrote under the RFK post
read
has
'em
like 1,000
one day.
likes.
You're popular.
Read me one, just to keep me hooked.
I got like 9 followers from just writing like, "Wow, we live in a simulation."
Last strongholds of radically moderate thinking.
Does it say? Does it say who signed each one?
Yeah.
Oh, you stealth put us live again. I see it.
Oh, bastard.
God, you can't do this. Like, I'm gonna say something really dumb.
Hold on.
No,
Armand was reading the gift whiskey notes.
Read some of the notes off the
cute?
gift whiskey.
That would have been a better.
This is the new
The
shtick.
camera should have been on us.
Wow.
Getting canceled.
Read some notes off there.
Oh, that's annoying.
Best place on the internet. Thanks to the hosts. Matt Metzler. .eth.
Wow.
My man.
Nice.
Thanks, guys, for this lovely gift.
We're still enjoying.
Tensky likes the color of my
Thanks for
softball
creating
shirt, by the
a
way.
truly
I like it too.
special community. Jeff.
Jeffrey? What else we got in there?
One of the last strongholds of radically moderate thinking.
It's the good vibes bottle.
Love that. I heard a bet. I need help settled.
Okay.
Is it possible for a human being to walk 24 hours straight on a treadmill for $25,000?
This is so easy.
Of course it's
Yeah,
possible.
that's like the easiest 25K of all time.
That's
No way.
exactly what I said.
I disagree.
That's exactly what I said.
I disagree. You can't even stay awake for 24 hours.
Oh, it's no problem.
I've done it many times.
There was a guy in poker back in the day who won a prop bet running for like 24 hours straight, basically on a treadmill. He almost died.
Right.
Didn't you tell us this story of
I
your
feel
friend?
like I feel like he wasn't my friend, but I did play poker with him.
Yeah.
On the internets.
And he like was behind at one point and had to like catch up and really like get it at the end.
it was gnarly. I think he won like $1 million or 500 grand. I forgot it. This is like one of those OG.
I was thinking
classic,
about taking the other side of the bet.
So what would be
Okay,
so hard?
so he was a high school cross country champion.
Okay, so walking is different than this running.
When are you going to
which-
pee?
Just pee on yourself.
For 25 grand, it's worth it.
I'll pee on myself for
I
25
like that
grand.
answer.
I think marathon runners do that.
I'm not
actually.
above that.
I think Formula One drivers pee in the cockpit. Anyway,
I don't think you're going to
I
need
got my
to.
Formula One instance in.
This is great content, boys.
Start
love
your
it.
new pod with Adam Snyder.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, I
Can
think,
we
it,
please?
I think it'd be an easy 25K, dude.
Well, it wouldn't be easy. It's a lot of walking.
Well, it's not much.
But I have a personal kind of beef with walking as exercise.
It's not exercise.
It's definitely not exercise.
But I think like the world has now come around to like that's like the best form of getting your cardio.
I think
in.
if you are limited functionally, physically, oh my God, what an incredible thing to say you walk every day and to actually do it. Like, but if you are a capable, able-bodied person and your excuse of like what you call exercise is just walking, that's not exercise.
Okay, thank you. I thought
I just
you
want to
guys.
address the nuance.
I thought you guys would be on the other side of that, but I'm
No.
surprised we agree.
No, I know someone very close to me, 3 years younger than me, who gets up and walks in the morning as a form of exercise.
Right.
And I was like, brother, let's get a little jog going. Let's swing those. He's like, I'm power walking. I'm like, nope, not till you're 80. You're not. That's
My favorite
not
thing to do is like
acceptable.
when you walk out of the restaurant, jog back to the car. I don't know why. It's like a mental. Feels like
That is
burn off 7
that is
calories.
so ridiculous.
I've seen,
Turn
you,
off.
I've seen you and Daniel do that. Every time I see that, I literally think that's insane.
Psycho.
I'm like, that's crazy.
I do like walking off a dinner though, but I would never just jog.
Just seeing someone in street clothes jogging is
I think it was
so
after
funny.
we started the business and we were just like both walk out of a restaurant. He goes, "You want to jog back to the car?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Oh, we're gonna be good business
find
partners."
It so funny. I've seen Daniel do that so many times.
Would you think
I love
something's
it.
like wrong if you're just like an innocent bystander, like somebody in like nice
I-
clothes is running? You're like,
emergency.
I gotta go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Welcome everyone to the Alfalfa podcast. We are live on YouTube like we are every Wednesday, 5 p.m. PST. Thank you all for joining us. Today we got the whole crew. It's been a few weeks since that's happened. We got
Yeah.
Eric, Armand, Steven, I'm Nick. Thanks for everyone joining in the chat. I see Tunsky, Matt, Tyler. Who else we got in there? Dan, Juice, Juice.
What's up,
Allie?
Juice? I love that name.
Tom Nom Nom. Vibes. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us live. You make it a whole lot more fun. If you're not joining us live, you're listening to the audio, come hang out on a Wednesday. Have a drink, share a bevy, and hop in the chat. All the links are at alfalfapod.com. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're noticing it's helping, so appreciate the love. You can support the pod in a few ways. You can comment during the live stream with the YouTube Super Chat. You can throw up your comment on the screen live. You can tweet this episode or share it with a friend. That also helps as well. And of course, we have our on-chain collectibles at pods.media/alfalfa. Simmons.eth with 39 in the lead. Zimvi with 38 coming in second. And coming in show, Jensinius.eth with 34.
Legends.
Yes.
Legends.
So thanks, guys, for supporting the pod. Armand, you already read some of this out, but can you give us a little read down of the GIF whiskey that we have there?
Like, read a few more quotes?
No, just like, what is it? What do we got? What
So this is a whiskey we were gifted at the last Alfalfa meetup at the ETH Denver conference, and was given to us by the community. It's absolutely amazing. It's a special edition by Stranahan's, which is this is the Mountain Angel Colorado single malt whiskey made locally with sourced barley, and cut with Rocky Mountain water. Branding is phenomenal. And this is a very special bottle from a very nice distillery in Colorado.
Thank you, guys. That was such a cool gift.
Yeah, we're still enjoying it, still loving it.
Yeah.
All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Zbiotics. Go to zbiotics.com/alfalfa. Use the code alfalfa at checkout. You get 15% off. Also help support the pod. I took my Zbiotics before we started having a beverage today.
Me too.
You did?
Me too.
Good
yes.
boy. Good boy.
Now that I don't drink as much, it's very important.
It's required.
Yeah.
Required. Tomorrow, I have to drive around LA visiting 3 fulfillment centers in LA, and I do not want to feel like shit in the morning. So Zbiotics is the insurance for tomorrow's long day, and hopefully still get a workout in. So as a reminder, you take Zbiotics before you drink. It gets rid of that toxin, that nasty toxin, acetaldehyde that makes you feel like crap in the morning. And it's been some of the best alpha we've had on the podcast. So go to zbiotics.com/alfalfa and check it out if you haven't already. Also, 4th of July is coming up. Might want to place an order before that daytime drinking and try it out for the first time. Thanks Zbiotics for supporting the pod.
These are a big hit in France.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You saw them floating around?
International?
No. I always like deal them out to new people. Bring them extra.
Wow. Is that allowed?
They're like, what is this black magic?
So generous of you.
I wish you would do that with your friends here.
Yeah. Take.
Oh my God. Shout out to Yaniv. That one time we did movie night at his place, and he had
a spread.
He had a Zbiotics spread on the kitchen counter for us, ready to go. I thought that was the most thoughtful.
Well, there was a charcuterie board.
There was
gummy bears,
popcorn,
Twizzlers.
There's like 12 bottles of wine.
12 bottles of wine for 5 people.
I remember you walked in and you just like beelined straight for the Zbiotics.
Well, yeah, because I was like, man, I forgot to bring one as I saw the wine.
You were like, yes. That was a very nice touch.
Great touch.
Yeah.
It's a good touch for.
It's a pretty baller setup to have at a party.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you think we're at least responsible for 1% of Zbiotics sales?
I don't know.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
If you go the branches and the referral trees,
yeah
possibly. But who referred us? Oof, that guy's bringing in some heat. Guy probably wish he used a referral code. Yeah.
No, he's not. I can assure you.
All right, let's do a little alfalfa round. Steven, I would like I don't know if you have like a separate alfalfa, but I'd like to share. Can you share some from your trip? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
So I went to Burgundy, not to be confused with Ron. So I've been to France a couple times now. I went to Bordeaux last time I went, which is also awesome. I like the region of Burgundy the best. Burgundy's like really, really epic place. It has like the best white wine I've ever had.
Hold on. You went to the Loire Valley last time, which is known for its white wine.
The Loire Valley is like Temecula versus Napa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Shots
Like
fired.
Burgundy is like.
So
is top
explain
tier.
the setting. Is it like rolling hills or is it like coastal? What are we talking?
It's very simple. There's just like one like gigantic kind of like mountain that just goes for like miles, and like all the vineyards are just on this one hill. So you just drive by, and you have like Côte de Nuit, Côte de Noir, a couple other ones, which not the Côte de Noir, Côte de Beaune.
Other French words.
Yes.
We're not gonna fact check you on any of this. So you could say,
I
you
didn't
could-
even
you
have to
could
correct
literally say
myself there.
Côte de anything. And,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Burgundy is really known for its.
It'd be like
its,
I was listening to Terrence Howard. I would just be like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Don't know if you're
What
crazy
a
or-
genius. What a genius! The man knows his wine.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, Burgundy is known for its Pinot Noir. Like
Uh-huh.
if you think you don't like Pinot Noir, you have to have a Burgundy Pinot Noir. It's different, it's special. But where it really shines actually is the Chardonnay.
How much is an entry level Pinot? Not entry level, like just to enter the Burgundy Pinot Noir and have a decent one. Is it like 100 plus right now?
You can buy a bottle out there for like €8.
No, I know out there.
Yeah.
Here.
It's all about the freaking tariffs and the shipping and everything. That makes
And
it
they don't distribute a lot
you
of
get
that
it for like
stuff
20
here.
bucks. It like so. What I like internationally is they have all these like systems for the wine, and
Just
they're
to
like
clarify my question, like because I continue with that, but like people view French Pinot Noir and French wine in general as it is the most expensive.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, what's the entry point to where you're spending enough to where you're getting a good wine with French
here in
wine?
America.
Yeah. Yeah.
depends like how like refined your palate is, like with anything else. Like if you have like a super snooty palate, maybe like 70, 80 bucks. But like you could pick up a bottle for $30 that you'd probably enjoy, like if you just like wine.
Wow.
But then they have like the good stuff out there is like kind of in that 150, 200 range, and then it goes like just goes to the moon. So the Pinot is unbelievable, but it's like the Chardonnay is like the biggest alpha. Like so, most people drink Chard. They have like Napa Chard. Like Burgundy Chardonnay makes Napa Chardonnay taste like butter flavored cat pee. It's like honestly a joke. Like how
It
much
is very buttery.
it's a totally different wine. It's so good. Yeah, you if you think you don't like Chardonnay, you have to have a Burgundy Chardonnay, and then you can say you don't like Chardonnay.
Okay, so that's me because like I've always felt like Chardonnay is just like too buttery and gross.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
It
California,
sucks in California.
is very, very buttery
It's trash.
and oaky, very oaky.
I just want to know, like, on this trip, how bougie were you? Were you like bougie
dude,
9,000, Steven? Like, were you? You were
We-
obviously like swirling the cup a little bit. You probably stuck your nose
Did you wear
in.
an ascot?
I did have outfits. I actually like dressed up.
bet
this
you
time.
did.
I knew
Yeah.
it.
Hold on, how did you not wear that today? That
yeah.
would have been the alpha.
Yeah.
I know. I should have showed up with
Just
a
showed up
beret.
as a new man. Just starts talking down to us, no matter what we say. Oh,
I regretted this
perfect
after
French.
Tulum too. I wanted to walk in just with like the open white shirt,
Jungle,
and
some
the
kind of
hat,
like
you know.
ambiguous jewelry
Yeah, I know, I
dripping
should've
over
just
your
walked in
chest.
with like a beret and like a black and white striped shirt, even though it's not what people wear there. But yeah, no, it was like the most gluttonous 4 days of my life. I mean, like every single meal we had like some insane like multi-course French thing, and just like every bottle of wine. Like the people we were with like could not order a $200 bottle of wine. It was like don't order a $200 bottle of wine challenge. Impossible. So like it was my food bill was like a lot. Last day we had like just one of the most insane meals I've ever had at like a 3-star Michelin. It was awesome. We had like this guy with like a little like mustache. You know the mustache where it's like they kind of like grease it out. And he would like announce every meal in this like amazing voice. Like the food would come and he'd be like, and in front of you we have a strawberry creme fraiche with, and he was just so sing song, and like you thought he was done, and a little spoon to come with it, and he just kept going higher and higher, and he was dancing around like announcing the meal, and you have like 9 people serving you for some reason, they're just pouring everything, and
Do they drop the plates all at the same time? Is it that level?
yeah, oh
yeah.
no, they would bring a dish, and like everything was covered with a bowl, and like we would like. I have to show you the video of this. I actually bought the Ray-Ban Metas, and I recorded everything kind of first person for the
No
first time on
way.
the trip, which was kind of cool, actually. But you could see it's like we're at dinner. There's like 6 of us at the table, and these bowls all get put down, and you see like each one of us has like a server behind us, and then they like look at each other and they go like, and they go, whoom, just in perfect unison, like lift the dish and all this
Fucking
smoke
Beauty
comes
and the
up.
Beast.
Oh my
That's
god!
all I imagine.
It was so snooty. It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was awesome. If you guys want to go to Burgundy or Bordeaux, I've got a guy. So if anybody wants to DM me or whatever,
It's a Discord special.
yeah, I'll hook
Like
up
a
with the guy.
concierge of sorts.
Dude, they're unbelievable. They just set everything up, take you to like places you otherwise couldn't go. Like you just wake up, there's a van, you just go everywhere. Like everything is done.
This has
planned
10-year
for.
anniversary written all over it.
Oh, it's like
I like that.
It's like I don't know if I can travel again not having one of these kind of like done for you kind of like travel. It's like actually so good. Like it just felt like an actual vacation. Like
Yeah.
last vacation I took, like I would wake up some days and be like, oh, what are we doing? I gotta like plan what we're
Yeah,
doing.
because it is
Okay,
stressful to
hold
have.
on. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Amber wakes up. Amber has to plan what you're doing, and
Amber's not like a huge planner. You'd be
Wait,
surprised.
give me a break.
You'd
I
be
saw the
surprised.
itinerary.
on,
It was a
hold
laminated
on.
itinerary.
No,
of
she's
your
good
trip.
at like laminating stuff and
Okay,
like
hold
making
on.
things
Hold on.
presents.
Question
And,
we
from
got
the
a
front
question.
row. I have an
Yes.
objection, probably. You left your backpack in here one day, and Nick walked through the office and be like, "Whose backpack is this?" And you like looked through some of the materials in there, and it was a laminated itinerary for your trip in Spain.
Imagine there's each day planned out, and then there's a picture for each day, so you can be like, oh, okay, I understand the kind of feel, the vibe of the day, with like an itinerary of each day. You didn't have to think.
That's absurd.
no, okay. No, you guys are confusing like the actual planning process with just making everything in life pleasant.
All right, well, Amber's not
You
here
know?
to defend herself, so I'm just
Yeah.
pretty sure that there needs to be like another
Yeah.
weight on the balance here.
Amber did a lot, but like the whole. I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
Yeah, you're already fucked, brother.
I've like totally lost my train of thought.
I'm
now.
just so glad we brought up the lamination.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It's been sitting in the
Been
back
holding that
pocket.
in my
Yes, I do have like I have like laminated like post like itineraries from all the trips we take.
Also,
I
next
get
time
like a
you
recap.
discover something
Yeah.
that good, send a
That's
photo
nice.
to the group chat.
It's been back pocketed for a while.
Oh my god! I had no idea.
Yeah,
about
can we
this.
post these up on the pod? Like get a few pictures from the trips at least. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
One thing that Yessie does after every trip, she takes all the photos, she organizes them, sends them in, and they get printed in like a hard bounded book. So we have like a little library of books
That's
for every
cool.
trip, hardcover, and you can just like
You like to look back at through
Photo
those,
book,
flip
Photo
through.
Book America.
yeah.
Do you
That's
know
cool.
if that's what you guys use?
I don't know what
That's
she
what
uses.
Erica uses. I think that's major alfalfa for people.
Yeah, and
That-
she was like, I was
we
like,
do
oh,
the
this is
same
cool. She's like,
thing.
for our kids.
We do it for. It all started with our anniversary, and then we would do for the previous year, or just at the end of the year for that year together. And then it became like, okay, for different events too. But I think it's because the days of like, an album with physical pictures are gone. You have to create one of
And
those.
like, you're not gonna what are you gonna
No.
do? Scroll through like
I never
100,000
I never go
photos.
up. Like, who
Yeah.
goes up?
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
By the way, like last night we stayed in Paris before we went out, and we like to go to like cocktail bars. Like we went to some like epic ones in Spain. We like to find these like cool bars, and so I just kind of like threw a dart and went to one called Gatsby, and we walked in, and it was
Can't go
clearly
wrong.
just kind of like a local one, and like we sat down, and then the music like just start like the music in there was like. It was like a schizo was doing the play. Like we walked in, it was like Umbrella is playing from
Oh,
Rihanna,
no.
and then
Ouch.
no, it was awesome because like all the French people around you, they're just like, this is the sickest. They were these like businessmen like at the table next to us, just like they're like dancing around, like singing all the lyrics. Like everybody in this
But would
bar.
it jump from like Umbrella to like Frank Sinatra?
No, it went from like they would go like Umbrella, and then
I
they played some like
can't
random
handle-
'90s song, and then they like Eurythmics would come on. It was
Okay.
all,
I
and then
can't
like a
handle big
Tupac
genre
song would come on.
switches.
It was there was no flow. It was just like all over the place. At the end of the night, like the bar closed. The closing song was they played like I Believe I Can Fly, and the whole bar is just like all these French people are just like screaming like I believe, and like just like at the top of their lungs. I'm like, what is going on? They're like all these songs that you're like, oh, I like remember these, and I'm somewhat nostalgic, but they were all kind of mediocre in retrospect. They were just like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then like the guy doing the playlist like knows that we're American, and he's looking at us like, huh? Yeah, this is pretty good, right? This is pretty good. And he like comes up, he like came up to me after. He's like, I know you can sing. Would you sing with me? Sing with me. And
Oh my god.
it was, like,
That's
so
alpha,
funny.
baby. I like that
Oh
part.
my
Oh,
God.
so funny. Good drinks too, like really good drinks. After they, ignore you for an hour, they do give you a good drink. But that's just part of the part
That's
of the
the charm.
European.
Yeah,
that's just part of the European experience.
I have one travel question, and then
Yes.
we can move on. Okay, so 2 great countries, France and Italy. I think people generally all think that you get like a phenomenal experience in both of these countries. Pick one.
Wow.
That's hard because like they're two like my favorite countries,
I know,
and
most
I'm
people's.
I'm like Italian. I have to go with my homeland.
Okay.
But France is pretty awesome. Like my last 2 France trips have been like 2 of like the top 5 trips. Like it's hard to pick a favorite, but like they're so good.
Yeah, it is hard to
good.
pick between
Good
the
question.
two.
I feel like both
Those
are
are
so
diff-
good. They're two of the top.
In
The-
terms
the-
of that style of
the
travel,
food in the
like
food in
luxury.
France, food in France does absolutely shit on Italy.
I feel like
Oh,
France
food in
pains
Italy
me.
is not great.
Yeah.
and
in my
France,
opinion.
they're both cool in terms of luxury, but I feel like France is a step above.
Yeah, in
Were
terms
you in
of
like
luxury,
a countryside
yeah.
scenario?
Also,
Yeah.
food is like 2 to 3 times.
I mean,
better.
like we stayed in a city. It was cool. Like all the buildings were like, there were buildings there. They're like 700 years old around you.
But the like accommodations are up there. They're nice.
It was a brand new like 5-star hotel with like 12 rooms, and they didn't have hot water. So the girls were like
Ooh,
just freaking out the whole time.
That's called 1 star.
Do you know Casey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Casey was out there with us, and like night 2, he's like, "Fuck this," and he booked a room at the Best Western, like down the street, and he just left to go shower.
It was just like a malfunction, right? Like at this hotel that they didn't have hot water. Like it's like something went wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they were like totally unbothered by it. We were like, "You were a 5-star hotel. Like
That's
surely
so
you
French, by the
acknowledge
way.
that like having hot water is kind of important." They were just like, "Yeah, the guy he's coming." Like when? They're like, I don't know. He's never got fixed the whole time.
Damn.
Sounds so European.
Yeah, it was very
All
laid
right,
back.
good stuff.
All right. So any alfalfa round from
Come back,
gentlemen here?
I got one.
Go hit me.
Okay, so this was spurred by our Discord in the wellness section a few months ago, but it took me a while to catch on. Psyllium husk, you guys? I'm taking psyllium husk.
Wait, are you not regular pre-psyllium husk?
You guys, I am
Psyllium husk.
I am dropping the worst removals, I think they call them. They're awful. But the psyllium husk,
Good.
it's a way to get.
How do you spell psyllium?
Psyllium is like
P.S.
It's PSYLLIUM. It's like what Metamucil's built on. So it
It's a concentrated.
firms you,
Oh, okay.
firms you if you're not firm.
I am not gonna lie, I did not see this coming.
No.
No,
This
didn't
but
either.
I think this for me is like it's like a tier 1 supplement. It's like whey protein, psyllium husk.
I
These are
just got like launched 20 years in the future of this podcast, and we're like, guys, I found a new cane. Like this thing rolls, it's smooth, the suspension is amazing. Like you just
So I want to give a
Inject
shout out.
us.
Shout out to Tom Nom and Rectum because I looked back to see who was talking about this, and it was obviously the two
Tom
wellness
Nam
goats.
He's giving you props.
Yeah,
in
the wellness
chat,
goats were on top of this a long time ago.
Really?
okay.
I'm a big fan of the wellness channel.
amazing.
Been dipping in there.
Wait.
It's an underrated goat channel in the Discord.
It's a good channel for sure.
Yes.
I heard you're having trouble with spam calls on your phone.
Oh my god.
Do you
I-
do you know
you have no
about
idea.
the RoboKiller app?
I know about it.
Have you used it?
I don't trust that. I've tried everything except that, I guess.
I have it. I think it's like $1 or $2 a month or something. It basically just auto forwards. It's actually a very funny app. Not only does it just auto like forward all the calls, it fucks with all the people that call you. So you can actually choose like an automated like thing to kind of fuck with them,
Where to, like,
and then it
forward it to?
records it, and then you can listen back to. So there's like one, there's like one for example where it just says it's just like confused guy or something. So like so he answers the phone and he's like hello, and then they're like hello there, mister, and he's like hey I can't hear you.
And this is a recording.
Yeah, and it just keeps doing this like over. It goes for like I would listen to some of them and I would like, fast forward. These guys are on there for like minutes,
going.
just still going. He's just like okay, it's just.
That's worth it, I think.
So
Just
there's like a bunch of different ones you can use to basically fuck with all the robots.
I'm just imagining the product manager in the RoboKiller app being like, you know what we should do? We should like intro a fuck with the callers feature.
Yeah, that's probably a
like
funny
that.
company to work with. It's like a pitch meeting. They're like, oh, I got a really good one. So there's like an alien invasion in the middle of the call.
Armand, are you like downloading it right now?
No, I was reading the
He's
comments.
add
I
to
just,
cart.
I don't know. I doubt it works because I've just tried everything, but I'll try it. I'll try it. You know,
You know,
Dude,
if
your
it doesn't
call log
work,
was-
just get mad at
Your
me.
call log was ridiculous.
today was the worst day I've ever had. Too.
How many calls?
Today? If I showed you, it would blow your mind. Today there's been 13.
Oof.
Yeah, it's wild. It just can't capture like who's spam and who's not. It doesn't know. Okay, so my alfalfa. Actually teased this at Nick earlier, but only because I saw one of the products they were working on was related. Do you guys use mouth tape? Do you tape your mouths when you sleep?
Is this going to be a hostage tape ad?
No.
No,
No.
when I heard about this for the first time and that you were doing it, I scoffed and laughed, but I'm kind of on board now. Keep going.
Okay, so I don't buy hostage tape, these name brand ones, because all they've done is take tape and market it.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like when you sell it's like when you sell to women or when you sell to moms. Like you take the item that already exists, you put a mom on the cover, and then you run an ad to make her feel bad, and then it sells.
Well, don't forget to mark up the price first.
Yeah. Talk to Nick if you want to know how to do that. But that's basically what they do. So the idea generally is to tape your mouth. Doesn't matter what brand you use. But my alfalfa is this. When I first discovered it, I did it for a little while, and then I fell off. But I recently, when I stopped drinking, I all of a sudden, as I explained in that episode, it's a big domino. And all these other benefits started to show up in my life, like time to exercise or improved sleep. All of a sudden, I realized I was sleeping better. It's like, how can I sleep even better? So I started taking like magnesium. I got the Calm. I take both types of magnesium, magnesium threonate and magnesium glycinate. Is that the other one? And then so this is what my alfalfa is like. Take the magnesium, calm down, have a chamomile tea, which I know Nick is a huge fan of as well. Evening ritual. It's partly for the effects, but also the trigger that it just sort of like, hey, it's time to relax, let go. You know, you got to have these like evening rituals that trigger you and your body to get out of fight or flight mode to really start to relax at all in the first place. And then when I sleep, the crux of my alfalfa is this. You guys have heard of Naval Ravikant? So he is this like angel investor philosopher. He specifically has this like very strong stance about sleep, where he talks about how important it is to sleep naturally. And I remember he was like lecturing, maybe it was like Tim Ferriss or one of these other gurus, and just being like, no, because one of them, I think it was Tim or Andrew Huberman, was like, yeah, I sleep with an eye mask on, you know, and I keep the lights out and I use blackout blinds. And he was like, no, don't do that. That's wrong. You know, rise with the sun. Don't cover your eyes. Don't wear earplugs. Let the natural noises in. I love Naval. Learned a lot from him. He's wrong. Let me tell you why.
Not wearing an eye mask.
Let me
the
tell you
worst
why
advice
he's
I've ever
wrong.
heard.
First of all, if you're a single dude and you don't have someone like waking you up through the night, you don't have a dog sleeping on your bed, you don't have a man or a woman next to you that might kick you, who wakes up before you, you don't live in a big city, you are in the countryside, and you're just sitting there and you go to sleep gently and you rise gently, fine. But 90% of the people I know don't live like that. And so what happens is I got babies crying in the morning. I got wife waking up, kicking around, blah, blah, blah. I got dog all of a sudden starts barking. So by wearing the eye mask, wearing earplugs, and wearing the mouth tape, my sleep has skyrocketed. Dude, my 8 sleep is like 97 a night. And I feel so much better. So the mouth tape specifically, the alfalfa there. So first of all, yeah, you're less likely to get woken up by noise by wearing earplugs. The light coming in definitely affects you in the morning. You don't want to wake up before you want to wake up. Like that's the key. You want to get the full night's sleep. And the mouth tape, oh my God, I don't snore anymore. I was snoring sometimes, especially after a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening when you're snoring?
What kind of tape do you use? Do you just
I
go
use
full
like 3M
duct
tape, dude. Just the one out of
Actual
the
hostage
kink drawer. It's the kink drawer tape. So
Everybody knows you're not joking. Which is
So gnarly.
no, God, what was I saying? It's just like a 3M tape or whatever. But the incredible thing about it is that the subjective experience that I'm having, I'm not measuring this. I don't have like, data being pulled on things. Actually, I do have some data. I have the 8 sleep data, like breaths per minute, HRV, heart rate, all improved as a result of one or all 3 of those things. But the biggest thing is like, I wake up feeling much more refreshed. And I don't think I have sleep apnea. I should probably do a test. Everyone should probably do a sleep apnea test with their sleep doctor. There's a specialist you can talk to and find out. Because that's like a silent killer that we haven't talked about really on the pod. And a lot of people have sleep apnea or light versions of that they could resolve by just using mouth tape. And if you do that, you wake up with better breath, and you feel way more rested. And so I'm having a great experience with that.
I'm afraid that if I use mouth tape, I will suffocate to death.
So
It
doesn't work like
my
that.
fiance wears
Look,
it.
I'm not saying it's logical. I just know that will happen to me.
It doesn't work.
My
like that.
fiance wears it, and then multiple nights in a row, she's woke up and be like, "Where's my mouth tape?" And she thinks that like in the middle of the night, she's like subconsciously like taking it off her mouth because she's like can't breathe or something. like between dreams, just like someone's taking it off. So every morning she's like, "Where's the fucking mouth tape in the bed?" But she uses it. She loves it.
Mouth
It's a game
breathers.
changer.
Mouth
I refuse
breathers
to-
everywhere.
I refuse
Hold
to
on,
like
hold
admit that
on,
I'm a mouth
hold on.
breather.
So before I started this, I want to clarify: I'm not a mouth breather.
Yeah, right, pal.
Oh, no, seriously, seriously. Seriously.
Do you guys get threads on your Twitter
I-
about like how to not breathe out of your mouth? Like,
No.
Because I do all the time, and I'm like, who are these people who don't know how to breathe?
I've had my wife check many times. Like, I'm like, does my mouth open when I sleep? And she's like, no, never. My whole family's like big on this. My brother's so funny because he's like, he learned when he was like 11 that like spiders can crawl in your mouth in your sleep. So he just like sleeps like this.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, you'll swallow like 2 spiders this year. Like something
okay,
ridiculous like
who
that.
collected the data on
I
this?
don't know,
Like,
but it's
I've heard this
bro-science.
before.
It's bro science. Don't worry about it.
Free protein, baby.
It's bro science. It's bro science for Huber boys. So anyway, I confirmed not opening my mouth, but still the difference when you put the tape is huge. Try it. Just try it one time.
I've heard dentists come out and say that like mouth breathing while you're sleeping is actually a bigger cause of cavities than like dental
Mouth breathing
hygiene.
has a lot of issues. It changes the structure of your face.
That's the one that Yessie
all
was
kinds
like,
of things.
did you know this? And then like the next day she bought mouth tape because she saw how it changes your.
She's got a strong jaw.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that's what I see on my Twitter feed. I see people like,
Although I don't think any of us have verified if that piece is real because there's a lot of ads going around with like the jaw chewer thing. Like that's fake. Like there's a Huberman ad of him talking about the science behind that. That's completely fake. That's AI generated. He came out on Twitter mentioning that. So you got to be careful with the bro science. But
Cool. I like it. I dig it.
that's the book about it that Tyler Lilly just mentioned. Breath by James Nestor goes into tremendous detail on the science of how important it is to breathe through
Tyler
your
outed
nose.
as a mouth breather as well.
Literally, Armand, you look like a floating head. You did the cardinal sin of wearing the black shirt.
I know. I like wearing black though. Black is my
He's just a
my color.
ghost.
That looks terrible.
All right, let's get. Oh, actually, before we get into some of the money topics, like, did you guys see that ScarJo rugged? I mean, look, going back to last episode, she rugged our Chat GPT horny voice.
Is that what we call her now? ScarJo?
Scar.
I don't know.
Well,
That's
that's been her thing for a while.
Really?
I
I didn't know who you were referring
Yeah,
to.
I'm Air Joe.
Scarlet,
ScarJo's kind of a weird. That's kind of. I wouldn't leave
Air
with that.
Joe.
EJ, EJ's
Yeah, I'm
better.
EJ.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson rug pulled the voice. Apparently, Sam Altman was like trying to convince her to use her voice to encapsulate the sound from her, which we were talking about last episode, and she rugged it.
Did you know there's like actually like legal precedent on this?
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people are talking about like, well, this is so stupid. Like, what if you just hire a voice actor who sounds like her? It's not really her, but like apparently, I can't remember if it was Ford or some other car company. They, I guess back in the day, found an impersonator that sounded like Bette Midler, and did like a thing with like Bette Midler's voice, but it wasn't Bette Midler.
Just someone who
And
sounded
she
like her?
sued them, and then I think they lost in court.
Wait, Bette Midler lost?
No, I think Ford lost.
Oh.
Like, so I actually think like I'm guessing that's why they took it down. Like, there's actually like legal precedent that you, like, once your voice becomes like a certain level of like iconic.
It's like that's mine.
But can you
That
imagine
sound
that
is
though?
mine.
Like, if you were just born with Scarlett Johansson's voice and you
Yeah,
just can't do
can't help
anything,
it.
you just
All right, so let's talk about ETH invading the White House. We're on a little crypto revenge tour. Politically, it's kind of exciting.
It's just like every 3 hours you open Twitter and it's just like
Feels
something-
good.
Oh, sorry, now it's x.com.
So can I give a quick timeline here?
Yeah.
So May 8th, Trump holds this is what, like 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Trump held a little NFT event at Mar-a-Lago. If you purchase,
Wait, is this the one where you could have done the dinner?
Yes.
I should have done that.
Exactly,
This is like one
like-
of my biggest life regrets. Like, that was like $2,000.
Right.
Exactly.
The president.
He pulled Ryan Selkis up on the stage.
Yeah, he pulled Ryan Selkis up. He gave an impromptu.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got like a little speech, and he's clearly like, "Oh shit, ex-president just pulled me up on stage." He of course gave an impromptu endorsement.
Knocked
maybe a
it out
little
of the park, I
peer,
think.
peer pressure. Yeah, he did good. He kind of like explained the case behind why politicians should care about crypto. So anyway, that happens on May 8th. May 17th, just like 5 days ago, the Senate approved to repeal the SAB 121, which is this SEC accounting rule that made it really tough for crypto custodians to like hold crypto. They had some burdensome like capital requirements. Anyway, Congress
it was
can
like treated as like a liability or something on the
It was
balance
absurd.
sheet. It was
so
not,
absurd.
Not to get too wonky about it.
Yeah. So anyway,
It was bad.
The House passed it, then the Senate, and the most important thing about the Senate was that the Democrats went against the kind of party line.
Not just like Democrats, like Schumer.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer. He's the like, is he the majority leader?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
I think so.
I just said yeah, but
Yeah.
like I think so.
But anyway, he's the top Democrat in the Senate, and so he told everyone, vote your conscience on this one. And usually, the majority leader is the one who whips people in line. Like, no, the president wants this. This is how you're going to vote. So you just vote this way. And he said, vote however you want to vote. It won 60-38. And then May 20th, a couple days ago, the SEC just did a 180, and all of a sudden started hitting up the issuers, and we're like, hey, we're going to need those documents. Can you send us some updated documents for the ETH ETF?
Yeah, deadline tomorrow.
Right. So,
What exactly did they ask for? They just said updated documents.
yeah, I think updated, like there's, I forget the documents, the Bloomberg boys, you can check their tweets to,
So I'm curious. I'm like, very lightly like reading fast through crypto Twitter. Was there a true 180?
yeah. So
Yes.
actually, if you can,
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a? I put a little tweet in there.
Yeah.
This is ScarJo.
I got you.
Yeah, that's
Hold
ScarJo.
on,
Yeah,
hold
okay.
on.
So let's throw this up on the screen. I mean, basically the Coinbase COO, I believe her name is Emily Choi. She talked about how the tone from the SEC has changed literally overnight. The administration is sensing some panic, and she goes in some of the detail here. I think it's from a Bloomberg report, talking about how the administration sensed some panic, and maybe it was like junior staffers telling them like, "Hey, like our own party just went against us, and they went for a reason, because maybe they're feeling a little pressure that, hey, crypto could be a vote changer." And it looks like, I did some quick research. It looks like 6% of voters hold at least $1,000 of crypto, like $1,000 to $10,000 of crypto. So I don't know. Maybe in some of
That's it?
yeah, it's not a lot.
Isn't it like 40-50% own some?
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
only 6% own more than $1,000.
Let me pull up
Because
the.
when Selkis was talking at that Trump event, he mentioned a number that was like higher for sure. He said like 20 million Americans or something
So
own
a
crypto.
yeah, but
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
they
Well,
don't own
that's
like a
at
significant
least,
amount.
yeah.
What I cared about was like, do they own at least $1,000 worth? Because that's more meaningful than like my fiance owns $20 or now it's $70 worth of Bitcoin.
But I guess to argue against myself, it's like it doesn't really matter how much you own, because a lot of people that can't afford a lot or have not invested a lot care about the principle of being able to.
yeah,
Like there are so many people that only own $20 of it, but if you took the right away, that's when they would get, and then it becomes a political issue for them. That becomes important to vote for somebody that would allow them
yeah. So
hold the rights.
real quick fact check: a Paradigm survey also found that 6% of U.S. voters have crypto between 1,000 and 10,000. So between those two values is 6% of voters.
It doesn't like matter how much they have though. It's just like, do they care?
But
you know.
but that that's such a very specific tranche
Totally.
that's pulling out 6 to 10,000. So yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't really mean anything.
But anyway, we got a little tide shifting going on, and then just today, that Fit 21 bill passed the House at least,
by a lot.
and I think
70 something.
and this one's
Dems
interesting
voted for
because
it.
the SEC rule they overturned, Biden said he was going to veto it, and this one, he said, if you pass it, I'll sign it. So it has some things in there like the CFTC gets oversight over stablecoins. There's requirements for stablecoin issuers. They have to hold the assets in like certain high liquidity assets. And it gives like some distinction of like what's a security, what's not. And there's some decentralized language in there. For example, if a token is used primarily within a decentralized network for operational purposes, it may be considered a commodity rather than a security, subject to CFTC regulation instead of SEC oversight. So I haven't read through the whole bill, but like it just sounds not perfect, but
Wonder which
better.
that one is talking about.
Yeah, baby. So our bags are happy finally.
Crazy times, man. Crazy
almost.
times.
If
It's kind of like unsettling though. Like this whole thing basically shows you that there's just like one guy in government who's just like, no. And then like the entire machine is just like, oh yeah, well, this is fine now.
Or one woman specifically was like, no, Elizabeth Warren. And then the White House said, nope, this might affect the election. We need every little
Was it
point.
the White House? I don't know. It's like it's just like crazy that all of these things just like fall in line because one specific entity. When you say like the White House, right? It's not like the White House.
Right.
It's not a Biden. It's like who is it? It's like one person. Is it Larry? Maybe it's Larry.
No, I think it's someone in the administration. The directive down
It could be
to
Larry being like, stop it.
like a funder.
I think
Yeah.
it's something actually more simple and more interesting and more hopeful.
Oh,
I
Nice.
think it's the beauty of what's unfolding is like this is why you want to live in a democracy, and this is representative of what people need and want, and that's the beauty is that the representatives in government are supposed to vote representative of the ideas that people hold. And when the Democrats found out that this was going to hurt them, they quickly did change the stance and realized that things need to change. Like that is what you want in an indirect democracy.
It wasn't that
exactly
quick.
what
It wasn't
you-
that quick of a change.
No, it's not been quick at all. But you see, there's a time constraint that forced this function. As the election got closer and the tests showed up, how will people respond when we continue these like protocols that are very like aggressive against crypto? That's when they realized this could kill the chances of winning.
Don't you find that?
Can I rain on your optimistic parade for a little bit?
I mean, you made the face, so I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So I was sort of like arguing the voter thing in a group chat with a certain well-known trader, and he like kind of dunked on me, and I think he was right. This is basically just like a thing for donations.
Yes.
Like it's just simply like Trump raised a fuck ton of money. They're getting outraged. They're getting shellacked, and this isn't like I do think there's a certain asymmetry here, which is that nobody is going to vote for Biden because he's anti-crypto, but a lot of people will not vote for him because right. So there is some asymmetry there, but the main thing is like crypto. By the way, like I think it's like the third or fourth biggest like kind of like super PAC in Washington. Like, so there's like actually like a decent amount of firepower there. And like once that happened, and honestly, kudos to Selkis and everybody else who's been kind of doing this stuff behind the scenes. Like once the money got there, then it was like it's not so much because the votes. It's just like they want the money. They want to chase like the whales.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you guys find that odd that like the White House would take an issue and switch on it? Like it doesn't seem, if you listed out, top 10 voter concerns, like I wouldn't even put it in the top 10.
Right.
And so it's just funny that this is happening, and I think that makes more sense of it. That we can raise money off these.
So you're saying that only the wealthy and this so-called circle of money that matters right now is what's influencing this. It's not general sentiment of people.
Yeah, it's just
And that's
it's
kind of
largely just driven by
I don't know. I would argue
donor
it's
class play.
both. Of course, it's the money, but I would argue it's both.
And it's kind of like
I don't think it's a top 5 issue.
it's kind of disgusting, right? Because you see these like perverse incentives based on these packs and stuff, and in this one, it's kind of like, okay, well, it's working out
For us.
so cool. But like, it's still pretty gross.
I mean, that explanation makes more sense in terms of like where the incentives lie, of
course.
and how people follow incentives.
It's always that. But I still think the optimism holds. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's happening. Like just the fact that there's regulatory clarity, or there might be some.
There might be.
Don't let
There
that
might be
light
some.
go out.
I never will. Dude, the day this light goes out, like, you should kiss this planet goodbye.
But it is like a representative government. It's just representative of the money, not of the people.
Of the funders.
It's the funders.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah, everybody wins.
that's exactly what.
This whole thing is kind of like that like domino meme, It's just like Ryan Selkis buys a JPEG, and then it's just like the whole.
Yeah, like I've mentioned Lawrence Lessig before, and he talks about this in his book Republic Lost, about how the representatives work for the funders, not the whole constituency. And I find myself like agreeing with him most, and now I find myself on a topic where maybe this actually worked out for a topic I want. I don't know if it like aligns fully, with all the chakras, but
Yeah, it's a really backwards way of getting things done. Like, you could argue that the people are still being represented because they can absolutely donate their dollars to causes that they want to see, represented in that manner through lobbyists. But, like, I don't know. I think it's lame. I
mean-
agree with the Lessig model of, like, remove money from politics, for sure. I think it simplifies things. But I'm curious how you guys feel. Like, just more generally, like, are you excited?
Can we just take a moment?
Yeah,
Like we're having
come on, guys.
We're like 30% in like 3 days. We did it. I want to pull a string and all the balloons come down and like.
too soon. No. Let's
It
wait.
does- I am
Let's
a little
wait.
scared.
We're rich.
Did you guys listen
the
to?
EBTC charts like that meme where the guy's like, champagne. He's like 30th on the podium. It's just
I
like
mean,
little
I
candle.
want to get back to those absurd levels of ETH BTC.
Oh, it
Like,
feels
that would
good.
be
Though.
dope.
I have this whole folder. I'm so petty. I have this whole bookmark thing in my Twitter called Future Dunks. And for the last like 9 months, I've just been saving.
No, brother, I got the same thing.
Saving
I have
posts.
the
I'm like,
same thing,
oh,
except
you're
it's
gonna
just
get
a
it.
bunch of VCs.
Oh, you're gonna get it. Oh, you're gonna get it.
Wow.
So
you
when this thing
guys-
happened the other day, I was just like, I was just reading through it like,
Excellent.
yeah, good.
I knew our buddy David Hoffman would be euphoric, so I listened to the live stream, and they were just like giggling with like happiness, and so I had my little giggle, laughter, enjoyment alongside with him.
By the way,
listening to them.
shout out to my buddy Evan SS, who it's been a pleasure watching him become like a main character on crypto Twitter.
Yeah, he's stepped up his game. I think he's actually done a lot of good.
Yeah,
Wait, I
he's
can't
been
figure
saying
this
for
guy
weeks,
out.
like, this thing is getting approved.
Hold on.
Fuck you.
I can't tell when he's playing the character or when he's being serious. I don't crypto Twitter enough.
He has
to-
an
to
interesting
figure
arc
out.
now. Like he
Dude,
went
he
like
was
through
dunking
troll
on
arc,
Bankless
and now he's
last
like
week.
he's making like 9-paragraph like education
showing-
posts, like thoughtful.
I don't understand. Yeah, he was dunking on Bankless last week and then being very anti-ETH. Was he being facetious? And then now this week he's like,
Oh,
I
he's never
told you so.
anti-ETH. Like if he's it, you're just not understanding
I'm
the
not getting
trollery.
it.
Yeah.
But I hate that. I hate that about crypto. It's so lame. It's like
Copy pasta.
I
You would-
hate
you wouldn't
the
get it.
copy pastas, and I hate the like insane
I
level
love
of
the
like
copy pasta. It's
sarcasm.
just like such a minefield.
Actually, I don't
like
mind
you
the
have
copy
to
pastas.
stay in the loop, otherwise you're just like, wait, is this a copy pasta?
It
Am I
also
getting
though-
baited?
So circle jerky though. It's just a pure circle jerk that only 9 people understand what you're talking
think
about.
Evan-
And you have to be so in the inner circle of crypto Twitter to know it's funny. And then everyone else who's like a part-timer is just like, why is this guy saying that? I thought that was the opposite of what he... And it's not even the opposite sometimes. It's like right in the middle. It's gray. It's like, why is he believing that? Does he believe that?
It's like an initiation
it's-
ritual,
it's
you know?
just-
You read the comments
bit
and
like-
people
I
are
don't
like,
have time
blah,
for
blah, blah.
this.
It's a little bit like hazing. I
It
will
is.
say,
It's
so
like it's like a whole indoctrination.
you know this guy
Yeah.
Evan, right? Like
Yeah.
so he might listen to this one day. I don't
No,
know.
there's
but
no way he's ever listened to
but, like,
anything I've ever recorded.
I do recognize what you're saying, that he like went through this arc, because like I muted him at one time because at one point he was literally just existing to
Troll.
dunk on people, like,
Yeah.
and that was like kind of like that wasn't a fun follow. I was just like, I don't need this in
His
my...
Hal dunking
Yeah, that's
was
what I
pretty
don't
good, though, to
get.
be fair.
I don't like the ad hominem.
Like he was
stuff.
just attacking, and then all of a sudden this week it's like really thoughtful, and I'm like, oh, I like this content.
He's been thoughtful for like a while. I feel like he came back around. And
Okay.
Just like, oh, I'm going to be useful.
All right.
I think he posted something, and somebody in the comments was like, you changed my life. He was like, oh.
I don't have a problem with the content as much as I'm just trying to understand, what do you actually believe? Like which one of these
I think
is
it's pretty
correct?
clear what he believes.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
pretty clear too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm just
It's
admitting.
very pro-ETH. Pro-ETH man.
All right.
I mean, going back to the voting, maybe you could pull up this op-ed, Armand. But Stephen, you posted this one, and the title is "Only a Fool Would Vote on Crypto Alone." So I'm curious what you guys think. Like, does it make sense? Is it optimal to just be a
single issue voter.
Yeah,
Th-
exactly.
This was an op-ed Blockworks published, and this was funny because I think like 500 people read it, but like somebody posted it on Twitter and like it went like mega viral, and people were like, "Blockworks is the
This
fucking
is so
worst.
dumb.
This is so dumb." And they just
This is so dumb.
what
This
is dumb?
the equivalent-
Blockworks is dumb. The op-ed is dumb.
No, it's like the question is dumb.
Why is the question dumb?
Crypto really important to you? Really that important to you? That's
Oh,
like saying,
that
is
question.
abortion really that important to you? What?
What?
We're not allowed
Are
to
you
be
equating
single
the
issue?
lives of babies
We're
and the
not
rights
allowed-
of women with magic
No.
internet coins?
Making a very simple correlate, like comparison, which is that single issue voting is common. Some issues matter to people. Every matter in life is subjective. Someone's crypto bags might matter to them in the same way that abortion rights matter to another person. So comparing single issue voter like mentality and like the weight of importance of the vote of the topic is silly. It's a silly question. It's just
It just depends on the
it's just a
person. Like,
silly
imagine
thing.
if
It's
you have
just-
75% of your net worth in crypto. Yeah, you
If
have your rights
if you
to be a
retitled
single.
that and said only a fool would vote on abortion alone, it'd be the same thing.
So let me ask you this: if if you find yourself single issue voting on crypto, would you think that that person's overexposed?
Possibly. I think so. I think so because like even
Yeah.
for myself as like it's a minority of the whole portfolio. Like I don't think they're wrong. It just doesn't seem
No, it's not
optimal.
about that. It's about the morality. The same way that abortion is a moral issue for people, crypto is a very serious moral issue. It's a principled issue for some people. Some people really do feel that the entire sovereignty of their lives, the future of the American economy, the world economy depends on us making the right decisions. That sounds really important. And that sounds like something that's worth fighting for some people that are heavily invested
Yeah,
in this
so-
arena.
so how much of
and,
that-
And by the way, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy at all.
But
I'm
how
just
much
arguing for them.
Like how much of the population in crypto who are single issue voters are voting based on this morality that you're describing versus voting on their bags?
I mean, they're voting on their bags, but I don't think that makes sense. Like I'd argue that if you really care about crypto and your bags, like you should more vote for the ethos of crypto, like maybe a candidate with more libertarian values, for example, who like holds those values true so that,
How would you do that?
well, I mean, this is when it gets not that pragmatic because we only have two options,
3.
right? Maybe three. But you would
kinda
look
have
at like,
three for
okay,
the first time.
who's more libertarian, who's more government hands off, you know, you'd probably argue that Trump is. And
Yeah.
so, but if you did have like a broader selection of candidates, I think it makes sense to like people whose values align with the values of crypto makes sense because you never know what twists and turns could happen over the 4 years.
Yeah, it's like David said in a tweet today or yesterday or whatever. It's like Trump is just here for his next profit-making opportunity. He doesn't really care about crypto.
What
I don't know
a
if that's-
politician is just here for his own selfish interests and doesn't care about the things we care about?
I don't know.
David.
I don't I don't know. I don't know.
Can't believe it.
But the point is, like, you know, is he the one that is leaning most crypto friendly? Yeah, seems so. And that can be very bullish for both bags and ethos.
I wonder.
You can accomplish both.
Well,
you
I
can
wonder
vote for your
then,
bags and your ethos.
because like David probably has very heavy crypto bags. I know he's not invested in anything other than crypto, and he's also pretty liberal leaning. I wonder
Right.
if that would like push him to vote for Trump.
I think it will.
I don't know if it will based on that tweet.
But that's pretty crazy.
So when I selected this, it was a much more interesting thing because like I wanted to kind of poke people, right? Because what's interesting right now is that like I feel like a lot of people have like really come around to the orange man, and they like still don't really want to say it because it's just so toxic to say so, and you've had all of these smoke screens that have allowed you to not say that, right? So the main one is that like RFK's in the race, right? So RFK is the great like, oh, thank God, like I don't have to like make this like terrible choice. I can just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna vote for that guy
Protest
who's not
vote.
gonna win. Like whatever, protest vote. And like we live in California, so we're like double smoke screen, like vote doesn't matter, whatever, vote for RFK. But if RFK didn't exist and you didn't exist in California, and the Biden administration didn't decide yesterday that, oh, actually, we love crypto, is it totally fine to just vote for Trump over Biden? Like, if you're in Wisconsin and there's no RFK, is there
Yes. I
anything
mean,
wrong
I
with
don't
that?
like the guy. I don't like him at all. I mean, Eric and I were talking about this the other day. Like, we both don't like him. But like, if presented with the options, and I'm forced between the two, yeah. I mean, like, I care about like economic growth and like free air trade, although that's not one of the things Trump's been doing. But I care about staying out of wars, and I care about, my real estate investments going up. And what better way to do that than get an apartment owner and president, like, and I'd also want the stock market to go up, and I want crypto to go up, and I don't want inflation as high. I don't know. I think if I had to choose between
Wow,
the
we
two,
should just
I
make
told
an
you
ad out of
guys
this.
last episode, his whole belief.
but I
like,
hate the guy.
Make people rich and you'll be popular.
Do you really hate him?
I just like, I really
I think
don't.
you mean as a person. Like, you
Yeah,
just
like,
don't value him as
I mean,
a
would
person.
I like to have a drink with him? I think it'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh,
if he
it'd be
was like,
amazing.
if he was on the pod right now, he'd probably be very funny.
He'd
It'd
be very funny.
amazing to hang with the guy. I think the take on Trump is so simple, and it's a hill I die on. Is like, unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword because putting him in power probably does mean that we benefit as individuals and as families and as communities from a monetary perspective, from a feeling of quality of life, right? But the challenge in the first cycle of him being president was that he made being an asshole be okay. He showed people that you could be a dick and become president. That I don't like as a symbol for how to be successful in life. I don't know if he'll be that way the second time.
I think it'll be worse. But, what the last 3 years proved is that, like,
I think he'll
okay,
be
let the
better.
guy be an asshole as long as we just, like, don't get in wars. We don't make, he's probably going to make, there's going to be a federal deficit again, but it's not going to be as egregious, I hope.
No, it's gonna be worse. It's been accelerating every administration.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in office.
This is,
It doesn't matter what
this
side.
is why
Yeah, we
like
don't know
everybody's
if
gonna
there's
get so
limits to
rich for the
this.
next 3 years. It's because like it's like now literally no matter who wins, it doesn't even matter. Like everything is just going up.
Yes.
Like we're just like late stage Roman Empire at this point. We're just like, all right. Like it's kind of sad, but it's just like get your bag mode. Just like get your bag and then like I don't know, figure out when the music's up and then buy
Exit.
gold or something.
Yeah,
I don't know because
exit
it's obviously
somehow.
not sustainable.
Yeah.
Probably unless AI just saves us somehow.
And then exiting and like realizing the gain is also a question mark.
Incredibly hard.
Incredibly hard.
Yeah, easier said than done. But I mean, this is like a broad theme. We've been talking about it since we started this pod. Is like this is kind of the way the world is, and this is what the politicians are going to do because they're politicians. And
Can we show what Armand has pulled up on the screen?
Oh,
so
here we
you
go.
want? I think you found this, right, Armand?
Yeah, it really stood out to me. I just want to close the loop on one thing, like quick check on you guys. Like, obviously, clarify for people listening and watching, like, we're recording this on Wednesday. We're about to find out if the ETH ETF gets approved on tomorrow.
Yeah, Thursday.
So, like, this could age.
oh, this might age so badly. Well,
Yeah.
actually, we're not making calls. We're just
No, no,
being
no, we're
happy.
not
Well, that's
making
why there's no
calls.
balloons.
I'm just. That's why I was like, hey, don't celebrate yet.
There would
but,
be
like,
balloons if I
like,
could have
do you guys think it gets approved given the so-called 180?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. All
I
right.
mean, I don't know if it's going to be on this tomorrow, but like,
80%
you know.
tomorrow.
No. I mean tomorrow.
oh, tomorrow.
It's like 80 tomorrow, I think, and 95.
But it's not going to go
somewhere.
live for a couple months, I don't think.
Cool. I was just curious.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I came across this and I felt that it illustrated well what some people have been feeling silently and is starting to show itself more. So Autism Capital, a great great
this follow.
account. It's starting to feel socially acceptable to publicly say you support Trump. The same level of instant repulsion, like you're an evil entity, isn't there anymore. The tides really are shifting. This is the time to have courage and come out and speak the truth. It's never been safer. Have you guys experienced that across like people that you interact with or personally even felt a shift?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, think about W. Junior. You know, like, I think people would be like, you know what? It'd be really nice to just have President Bush back, have some policies that I agree with.
Simpler times.
He's a warmonger, but like, fuck, like compared to these guys, it would be better. And I think when you have a comparison on the other extreme, it makes it a lot more socially acceptable to be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like, just disregard his angry tweets and just like keep your head down
so this
and
is
everything will
only
be
talking. This tweet is only talking about the moderates, right? Because the left is always going to be the left, and
Yeah.
the right's always going to be the right.
That's
So
right.
it's only the moderates. Because like if you say that you're going to come out as like a Trump stan to anybody on the left, you're still going to get a lot of vitriol today.
Yeah.
The same way you would in the last time they were going for an election. It's like it's only about the moderates.
Well, yes and no, because like that line moves so much or did move so much toward the left and extremism that a lot of people found themselves becoming moderate. And so to be able to come out and say they publicly support Trump, or even just to stop saying they publicly support Biden, was the first step for a lot of people that felt alienated by the left. The right has the same problems, but the left sort of like side of this spectrum moved much more rapidly over the last 5 years than the right.
Yeah, I mean, he's my vote if Biden still remains the other option in November. But I imagine 3 years from now, I mean, we're just going to be like palm and forehead at a few things, over and over.
I'm just gonna be sitting back eating popcorn and laughing.
I mean, there's no one that steps on his dick more than President Trump. Like, like the guy just cannot
Stepping on
help.
rakes
I don't know if it's
constantly.
Yeah,
socially
just
acceptable
nonstop.
to say this, but I would feel
Oh,
more
yes. I love it.
peace of mind with him as the president. Like, whatever that means economically.
Cancel this man.
Like, I think that
Cancel this floating
economically
head.
and just international relations specifically would feel a lot more peace of mind.
And can we like short circuit the like woke mind virus a little bit for 4 years and just like tamp it down a
It
little bit?
would.
Because I'm getting a
No,
little
I think
sick of
they're
it.
short circuiting themselves. That shit's
Yeah.
That shit's kind of like
I think you're right.
going the way of the dinosaur on its own.
It is. It's repulsive.
Can we just normalize saying that like you're neutral? It's like nobody can be just like neutral.
We've always
Like-
been neutral.
I'm
think
pretty like I'm
radically
pretty
moderate
like
thinking
I
has
am
always
neutral.
been.
Like I just want to be like Trump neutral.
I've always
He's
been
not.
Trump.
He's like not fucking awesome, and he's not like Hitler. He's like fine.
Well,
Just choosing between like a
neutralized or neutral. Is he neutralized because of the pros and the cons, or you just feel
I just feel like
Gray
I just
about
feel
him.
like I just feel like neutral about him. Like he's fine. Like I don't think he's that bad, and like I certainly don't think he's like I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna like I know people who like own memorabilia, right? Like I can't conceive of that.
yeah.
like
Yeah.
like,
I'll vote for him, but I'm not going to wear the hat.
like every time I drop my dog off to a dog sitter out in Ramona, which is kind of in the sticks, for people listening, I drive by like there's like a Trump store. There's a physical store. It's just like the Trump store, just flags everywhere, and if you go in there, it's just Trump merch, and like this business pays rent. And people go in and they buy merch.
Well, East County, San Diego is like red as fuck.
So yeah, but like even if you're red, like I still can't conceive of like I mean I guess I own his NFTs, but I'm just doing that to make money, so it's different. It's different.
Sure, buddy.
That's memorabilia, sir.
And then like some of the like I have family members who are of the Trump merch variety, and like some of the stuff, like if I look at it, like I literally can't tell if it's parody. Like it'll be like Jesus with his arm around Trump, and he's like this, and I'm just like,
Is that satire?
I don't know. I don't know if anything is satire anymore. Like everything is so weird, and like it's like yesterday. Like I log in, and then like RFK is just like ape strong. I'm buying $25,000
God,
of
I
GME,
saw that.
and it's just him with like a falcon and like an ape, and I'm just like. Like, what is happening?
It was a
Like, what
fucking
is
Planet of the
happening?
Apes poster with him on it, saying he's gonna buy $20,000.
It's literally a
of
presidential
GameStop.
candidate, like apes strong together, and then there's just like a falcon.
I was just like, dude, which of your junior staffers just
Yeah.
like grafted this up and put it in there and didn't tell you?
It's like so when people are like really serious about this, like this is the end of the world. It's like nothing is serious. Like everything is clearly not serious anymore. Like the serious ship sailed so long ago. Like somebody just kicked it out of the pond without there's no oars, it's just floating out there. And you're just like, all right, I guess everything is a joke.
So is
right?
it over forever then? Like no seriousness
That's
ever
a
again?
good question.
Yeah,
Like do we regain
It's just all a reality show now.
seriousness, or do we just keep
Getting worse, like more unserious.
Yeah, next is going to be like a boxing match between the presidents to decide, you know, like who's cooler.
Oh my god, that's 100% gonna happen one day.
I can't wait to see the debate if it happens.
Oh man, Trump's fucking hilarious sometimes. Like he's like, I won't do the debate unless they drug test Biden. He's like, did you see him in the State of the Union? Guy was hopped up on so many drugs to be
Did
able
he
to
say
speak
this?
like that.
He
Oh
said
yeah,
that? That's
he
so
said he's like,
good.
I won't do the debate unless they drug test him. I mean, it's just like
It's a good
pure
move
comedy.
because if they're like, no, we don't want to do a drug test, like people are like, why are you on drugs?
That's so good.
I'll do a drug test. I have no drugs.
Can you pull up? We don't need to play this clip, but can you pull up the Fareed Zakaria? I think like the clip alone just showing the headline.
Clear he was going to run for real.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
yeah, let's not play it because we'll get demonetized.
yeah, yeah.
I saw you guys dealing with that. I was like,
You did
yes.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, the Democrats have even said, okay, he's obviously the better choice. I don't know if they would use those words, but the electorate chooses Trump to the point where he's saying it's very unlikely that Biden can win this race, and he's a very like strong liberal, a globalist, and he's basically already laid it out. Like you look at the swing states, he's
Does this worry you?
what
What?
part
Well,
of it?
You know,
That
there.
Fareed Zakaria.
No,
was on
just like
CNN.
I guess I'm at the point where, if I'm being honest, I want Trump to win. So
It's okay. It's socially acceptable now.
that
Autism
was a
Capital
lot.
said
That
it's
was a
Wow,
lot.
God,
That was a
somebody.
lot. Honestly, I can't believe I said that. So, Jesus. So it worries me
We're having a
that
big moment here, actually.
yeah,
This is like Trump derangement syndrome, just
Jesus.
like oozing out of our bodies. Is that what's going on?
yeah, it's that bad though. Like, oh, sorry. I mean, Biden's that bad. Like,
I feel like I need to like shine a light on you or something.
so my point is that it was seen as not just very unlikely, but basically not possible for Trump to win the last election. I just worry that the same sort of effects are happening in the opposite manner.
No, it's
Just-
different. It's different.
Just worried.
It's very different.
Tell me why.
It's different because there's a political and media machine that sort of runs everything, right? And like
Yeah.
Trump was like outside, like this is the guy who runs, like this is like the machine's candidate is losing. It's very different from like the outsider, like upsetting the apple
machine
cart.
is agreeing that the outsider is going to win this time, no matter what we do. They've given up.
Yeah, it's,
I think the
what's
machine
happening
the
here.
machine wants him to bomb so bad in June in this debate that where they're like,
yeah, it
"All right,
almost seems like they want
bullpen."
to, yeah, like the very fact that they decided to debate him it just seems like all of this just reeks, like everything that's happened in the last like
Well, I
few
think they're
days just reeks of
conducting their own
desperation.
polls. I think before they were just fugazing the polls, but now they're conducting their own polls, and the polls are just so heavy Trump favorite.
The shit is
that
insane
they
to
can't
me.
fake it anymore.
Like a year
They
ago,
can't lie
when the
anymore.
mugshot came out, like I was like, "It's over. He won. You guys
Yeah.
are dumb. It's over. Like check my feet." Trump was 30% at the time. I was like, "This is the easiest trade in the history of the universe." Like 30%. Now he's like 55% or 60%, I think, on Polymarket now, and
Yeah, I mean, some of these court cases are so dumb, and just like handing the victory to him.
I feel like there's like stuff that like everybody knows that like a year later, whatever machinery it is like, oh, we've just realized that like this demented guy can't win the president. Oh, I just I can't
So
sometimes.
EJ, you hate Trump.
Yeah,
You gonna vote for him?
maybe.
Wow, socially acceptable. Just so you know.
I might. Like, I'm in this camp where I don't give a shit about like the left or the right. I know that those are the two options. People say there's a third. That's not an option. There's two, and I don't care. I think either side is just going to print more money. I care about like myself and my loved ones, and I care about sort of like positioning myself, no matter who's behind the Oval Office. So all I see is that they're going to print more money, and I'm trying to position myself for that. That's
So, given that in California our vote is inconsequential, so it's really more of just like a what you hope. You say that they have the same outcome, but does one have a better outcome?
do it again. now you're on camera.
What did you do?
We don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if neither one is going to sort of work toward austerity of any kind, like what, and they're both going to print, you view them similarly through that manner. I don't view them similarly through that manner.
I view them similarly through that manner. Yeah.
I view them both as printers, but I view one as being better for the economy.
perhaps. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Sort of just don't care. Like, I think Trump's going to win. My vote doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I think the vote does matter. You have to show up in the data for people to actually change. So like if you do not agree with Biden, like make sure you vote the other way so that it shows up in the data for like the next cycle.
But what's kind of weird now is we live in a society where like actually votes don't like. So in the 1800s, the vote was everything, right? Because they didn't have like social media.
But in the 1800s, like the actual smartest people of the society were
voting.
actually
But I'm saying,
no,
like,
they were running
just
for
by
office.
being like a
Yeah.
human, like voicing opinion, like people like look at that. It's like pre-voting. Like people already like they already know there's been no voting. They already know they're totally fucked. Because if you just go on the internet, everybody is just what the hell is going on, right? So
No, I think it does matter. I think like politicians care about polls and what they say and what surveys say, and they determine policy off them. Lobbyists use them to like.
yeah, everything you just said is not voting. It is sentiment. Like so, by living in a society where like sentiment is like expressed in real time and felt by these people in a way that didn't exist like a century ago, like just by being like a living, breathing human, voicing an opinion, whether you're just tweeting something or you have a whole podcast, like you are still being impactful.
No, but like what shows up in this vote? I mean, all they look at is like which districts voted which way last year and which ones do we need to focus on this year. So like I think California, actually people show up to vote instead of being like it doesn't matter. It will impact.
No, but your
the
vote
data.
doesn't matter in California. You matter
This cycle,
You
this
matter
cycle.
way more in California by being like a voice on the internet, which is good because in the past, like we would have nothing. Like at least now, you can be a person who like makes a tweet and it goes like hyper viral and it does like that didn't exist like 100 years. You literally didn't matter at all. So this isn't like a pessimistic thing.
Yeah.
It's like actually there are mechanisms where you can matter aside. Like I don't think voting is stupid. I think people should vote. But like look, I just call it like I see it. Like the system is set up so that as far as the presidency goes, like there's like what is there like 1 million or 2 million people in the whole country who like actually matter, which is
Yeah.
kind of
Maybe you can find this because back to your point about which one's going to do for the economy. It's not in our episode column. It's in the topics column, and I think it's like one chart that will decide the election.
Oh, I saw you put that in there. I saw that too, actually. That was
Yeah,
an
it's
interesting.
it's a Wall Street.
That was in the Wall Street Journal.
I think this is the chart.
Yeah, this is a super interesting chart.
Yeah, so that top one is the one we want.
Not it. Yep.
Yep.
Nope. That's Bill Maher.
What's happening?
Hold on.
There we
Don't-
go.
Don't show the screen yet. Let me find it.
Let him finger it a little bit.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Where's the This is Brutal?
So anyway,
It's-
this is
it's right there.
It's a Wall Street Journal.
No, but I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah, there you
Here we
go.
go.
Just maximize,
Can
baby.
you click on the image?
No.
No.
Yes.
Can you minimize?
Okay,
Zoom?
so this is
Enhance?
a Wall Street Journal chart, and on the left-hand side, we're looking at household net worth, and basically it shows compares Biden and Trump, and they're both going up and to the right. And on the right chart, you're looking at adjusted for inflation, and there's a very stark difference. Trump is still up and to the right, and then Biden, even dips negative at a point, and it's basically you're even through the 4 years.
Feel this.
Right.
Feel this.
And I think when people when the
It's a big difference.
the Biden administration's like unemployment's at record lows and like you're richer than ever, like they're full of shit
They're
because
full of shit.
and I think the electorate knows it because they feel it every single day, and people, all these like political commentators are like, there's disparity between how strong the economy is and what people are actually feeling, and that chart actually explains it.
You know why I don't like that chart? You know that old saying, like when Bill Gates walks into a bar, the average person becomes a millionaire. That's like what that chart is. Like it's just like all Americans, but like America is like these maybe 2, maybe 3 like vastly different subsets of people, right?
Agreed.
There's like 1%, or it's not even 1%. It's like the 10th of a percentile, right? And then there's like, I would just say like the investor class, and then there's everybody else, right? So if you're like in the investor class and you've just owned assets, you're doing great, right? But if you are those sort of like bottom 50th percentile people, like you are getting actually screwed. Like because I saw that chart, and then I was like, oh, this is interesting, and I did some digging on the Fed data, and then I tweeted something out. It was like a chart of like the bottom 50th percentile under Trump and Biden.
What did it look like?
It was interesting. So the bottom 50th percentile under Trump, it's literally just like an up only steady line chart. And then the Biden one, like they're down bad basically since beginning of 2022.
So I have a question. Like with that inflation data, how long does it take? Like how much of a lag effect is there for like the inflation to run through? Because some of the inflation that happened during the Biden administration might not be attributable to his policies.
And also, some of the inflation is not attributable to like fiscal spending at all. It could be to like monetary policy, but the fact remains.
Right. So you're just saying like, here's what.
Yeah, I'm not saying like, okay, he's the cause
of
of it. It's just the
Right.
fact that this is what people are feeling, and that's how they're going to.
But there is nuance within that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
But
like,
I do like that additional, like nuance of like the bottom 50% what they feel, and it sounds like they're worse, worse off than that chart shows.
They're not doing so hot. They're not doing so hot. So yeah, like that's the reality. Like it's like that old Clinton quote. Like it's the economy, stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Let's check in with the chat here. Max says, nice beer grab. Yeah, Steven was grabbing my beer. He also has his beer in between his legs. So, yeah, I just was trying to find my beer.
yeah, you sure did.
No.
Yeah.
It's on camera.
Marty says,
I just black out sometimes.
I only have thoughts about.
Marty's coming
The
hard
only
in the
thoughts I
chat.
have about Biden is how many Biden are there and which one is real. That's so good.
Okay, so I did see a video from the Babylon Bee, and it was just like AI Biden's pretty
Dude, 'cause
lit.
if
And
you
they just did
compare-
side by side.
If you
it
compare
just didn't look like the same person.
Biden in the when he seemed all drugged up versus like when he went to go buy that sandwich. Did you see the sandwich?
Yeah, I did.
It's like, how did he do a State of the Union address, but the guy can't buy a sandwich?
Meth.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Hell of a
probably
drug.
something a little healthier than meth, but meth.
Yeah,
Amphetamine.
Adderall is basically meth.
Amphetamine. Yeah.
Chris H says, we're living in a simulation, fellas. Yeah, second that.
Sounds like he's been watching.
Marty McFly says, I bought the Trump Bibles to give as a joke. Xmas gift. Wonderful.
Yeah, the Trump Bibles are a good example of one of the merch things where I can't tell if it's serious. I don't know. Like this you're joking.
We
right?
are in a very weird part of like reality's timeline. Like it's just not hasn't been normal ever since I would say Trump became president for the first time. Like that's when things just went. What?
Is that when things snapped?
Yeah, yeah. No one expected that. I think he didn't expect that. The whole thing
Definitely
just
didn't expect to win.
No, he
the
didn't.
whole thing just.
He's like, wait, what?
we went into like a parallel universe from that moment. I feel. Anyway,
Any last comments on
I
political
want to
stuff,
talk about
crypto?
being burned out.
Okay, before that, real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to Magic Spoon. Thanks for sponsoring this podcast. We love you much. Go to magicspoon.com/alfalfa. Pick up a little variety pack. There's cocoa, fruity, peanut butter, and frosted. We eat it ourselves here in the office. Got 0 grams of sugar, 13, 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. There's only about 140 calories per serving if you can restrict yourself to just one little bowl. Yeah, keto-friendly, gluten-friendly, grain-free, soy-free, all the good stuff. As Steven's going to crunch in your
Those
mouth on the mic.
macros are really dialed.
That's not really mic-friendly, dude. It's like, yes.
It's ASMR.
No.
No, I think that's like that time I kept chewing gum or eating.
Chewing gum, yeah.
Eric loves that. He wanted to rip me for that one.
Urbani was an ice chewer for a while.
Ice
Yeah,
chewer.
my bad. But yeah, guys, go to magicspoon.com/alfalfa. Get $5 off the variety pack and support the pod. If you don't like it, the kids don't like it, you can get your money back.
So good.
So thanks, Magic Spoon, for being a team of the pod.
Thanks, Magic Spoon.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So, Steven, you took like a few weeks off, and we're glad you did. And I'm glad you went like level 9,000 bougie. Very, very nice vacation. I like those types
He
of
has like
vacations.
a new like wave in his hair.
Yeah, good energy.
know?
He's all bronzed up.
He's bronze. He's got the
I'm
Versailles
literally
sun.
just as tan as I've always been.
No, just
I think I'm less tan
Accept
because I
it.
just
You're
sat
French
in a wine
bronze.
it's
cellar
called the
for 5 days.
Versailles sun. You have it.
It's not in Versailles.
Did you tan your taint? Because you seem like you did.
There's a lot of tea going on.
It's not so much tea. It's like an inner. It's like an inner tea. You know,
Alignment.
alignment. So you've been working hard. You have a lot of stress.
I do.
It's difficult to trade, to be human, to be a man, to be a boyfriend, to be a podcaster. Seriously, not. I mean, it is. Every human being goes through their own battle. I've been burned out many times. I'm excited for this topic to explore it. I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of like anecdotal stories and people sharing vulnerably about it, especially in the more like modern media of Twitter and LinkedIn and all this stuff over the last 5 to 10 years. It's become a pop psychology phenomenon, if you will, over the last like 5 to 10 years, where it's just like burnout was not a word that we really had in the culture. So what is burnout to you? What has been on your mind about this?
Just tired, man.
Cool, good podcast.
I'm not good at moderation. So, I mean, I basically like stared at charts and crypto Twitter from like early summer 2020 until last week, where I went 9 days without knowing the price of Ethereum for the first time, basically ever, and that was it was a weird experience. It was a freeing experience.
Did you delete apps from your phone? How did you prevent yourself from knowing the price?
I deleted Twitter, and then you guys posted in my Twitter account in the middle of my vacation, which was cool because then I had to reinstall Twitter.
I wouldn't call it you guys. Who do you think did that?
I was trying to distribute blame so that the floating head didn't feel bad about himself. But I was like, God damn it. But then other than that, like, yeah, I deleted Twitter.
Were we supposed to not text about Ethereum? Like, I didn't know this was a rule.
No, you were supposed to not post on my private social account.
Oh, we're talking about that.
Yeah, that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
that
good
was
fun. Blame the chat.
Sorry,
that was fun.
my friend here's a mouth breather. He'll catch up.
That was fun. Yeah, I was forced to.
Stay tuned for 3 episodes from now when like we
Jeff
log into
made me.
Armand's LinkedIn account and it's just like
First of all,
to be like, how could you do that
First
on
of
my
all, you
public-facing social media?
first of all, you rehearsed that. Secondly, that is so much worse.
Dude, that is so
Armand's like,
That
I got all
is
these
so
VC
much
checks in.
worse.
Oh yeah, it's
First of
so.
all, that's
When it's
LinkedIn.
happening to you, it's totally illegitimate.
No. That's LinkedIn. You're an independent crypto trader.
Oh yeah, No, your Twitter profile is just fucking doesn't mean anything.
I don't care if you rehearsed or not. That was gold.
That
was
was
money.
so
You rehearse it? You think I was like
That
sitting
was
at
so
home in my
rehearsed.
bedroom, just like
Yeah,
Dude,
you practice.
He definitely practiced
You
that.
practiced the
He
stance.
practiced
How's
that.
it gonna
Did
show?
you catch that?
He checked the
Catch
pants,
that?
make sure there are
Did
no
you
holes.
get that? Did you
No,
get
it was,
you got
I'm glad
that
you
on
rehearsed
video?
it probably landed.
Because
It
I
was-
can't wait for Calcium to make a fucking boomerang of Steven just going legs up.
if I had rehearsed that, I probably would have been like, well, it's probably not a good idea to do that
Oh my god!
on the internet.
Okay, that was good.
So don't touch my LinkedIn. Continue.
Okay, noted.
Uh-huh.
Wow, it's so easy when
It was so light, and I even signed off. Clearly, I've been hacked, and I made it very obvious.
Oh, so if I do
That
that,
sign
but if as long as I post your balls, but
Yes.
it's been like I was hacked.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
All right, well,
Huge.
There we go, green light.
Huge
well,
difference.
I don't think we need to get in a tit for tat escalation.
What are
war
you doing here, Iran? Like, what's going on? All right, continue.
I don't even know where I was.
You were burnt out.
I was burnt out. I still am
Said,
burnt
I'm
out.
tired, man.
Honestly.
Come on, man.
I'm tired, man.
I'm tired, man.
No, I've gotten to the stage where I like unplugged just enough to realize like, oh shit, like I'm very.
Okay, what is the definition of burnout to you? And are you trying to remedy it through that trip, or that was just like, I don't know. Is
No,
that
I don't have the kind of burnout that can be fixed with like a 4-day vacation. Like I have the kind of burnout that needs like Aaron Rodgers, 3 months in like a dark room, just doing like
Are you-
ayahuasca
okay,
or
let me
something.
You
ask
did 3 days, by the
Are
way.
you sure you know
Exactly,
what
that's how bad it is.
needs, though? Are you clear on that? Are you sure that because I have my own
No, I don't know what
assumptions.
it needs. I only got to the phase where I was like, oh, I have a problem.
Okay. So you're not certain that like just going and waldening at a cabin for 3 months is actually the solution. Because like I have that fantasy. for different reasons. But like,
But like gay reasons.
what?
Wait, was Walden gay?
No, I just like that I like that he went there. I like that. I like that.
I don't get that.
Wait, I thought Henry David Thoreau, right? Wasn't he gay?
What does that have to do? What is that?
I don't think it even matters. I just
I don't know. We did this with
have a
Tupac. I
fantasy
figured we were just. I thought that was.
Oh my god!
thought that was our
I just want to
shtick.
read books in a cabin by myself.
Every door's open.
Oh my god! Okay, I love it. Okay. All right, so Steven's burned out. I'm moving on to the next person.
He's so burnt out he can't speak.
Yeah, I guess the the prompt here is what? The prompt is like how to resolve burnout, or
That's probably a good starter point.
okay.
Have
The reason I start
Maybe I
with
should
just
interview
what
you.
is it-
Wait, hold
no,
on.
No, the reason I start with like what is it is because I also think that
is
like
it?
the definition of it is very unique and different from person to person, and it's just used as a catch-all phrase sometimes. So I'm just trying to understand what burnout is to you. That's the obsession with a singularly focused like career path that it requires you to be at a computer. Your job requires you to be aware of the markets 24/7. Do you think that the cause of burnout is the work itself and is because of the nature of the work itself?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the problem with crypto trading specifically is that it's like I mean, there's a lot of problems with crypto. One is that it's 24/7. It never stops. So, especially if you are trading like short term, you're trading with leverage, like you kind of have to know what the price of something is like all of the time because like you have a day where like Iran does something and then like you open up your brokerage account and then like everything is zero and you're like, "Oh, that's not good." So that's stressful.
So you're always on edge of like there's an existential black gray swan thing that could happen, and I can't ever step away because
Yeah, but there's
simply
always just like a
nature of the
new.
work.
There's always just a new thing, right? It's like you know how like every like 6 days, like the girls have like a new fashion trend. They're just like, I have to buy lemon print dresses now, and like somebody's probably listening to this, being like, that was 2 years ago, you heathen. But it's just like every 6 days they just make up another thing. And you're like, I can't wear this anymore. Like everybody's gonna laugh at me. Like I have to do this. You just so like when you day trade like stocks or something, like it's not like you wake up one day and like Google's not there and there's like a Noogle or something. Like it's just like the same stuff. Like a lot of people trade like one thing. Like I trade the S&P 500, and every day it's just like the S&P, and you go to bed, you wake up, it's still there. Crypto, like you wake up and somebody's just like, I invented this completely new way to gamble, and for all of you to lose money, and like the way to get there is you have to bridge this, and you have to stake like your newborn son, and it's just so much nonsense.
no more staking.
It's just like hard to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So it's just like the constant like new stuff, the constant free flow of information, and it's not just like the information too. Like you mentioned earlier, it's like this like weird like club where like you have to like always know like what's the thing people are talking about. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like you wander into something and people are like, ah, check out this boomer over here. Because you don't get the jokes. You got to keep with all the jokes. You got to keep with all the new coins, all the new this, all the new that, and over and over again. While like also trading, it's just like a lot. So like I did that for like 4 years, right? Just like 4 years, over and over.
I can't believe you
over
did that,
and
by the
over
way.
again.
I burned out on that a long time ago. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that shit is awful. Like,
Yeah.
all the little new shit coins and everything. Like,
Yeah, so I think for you, your version of burnout, if I can put it in a capsule, is like it's because the nature of the work itself. But for other people, it's not that. Sometimes it's like misalignment, or it's a deeper thing. Have you ever been burnt out? Or?
yeah, I'm burnt out right now. I'd like to give a different angle on it. So, like,
Yeah.
I want to talk it from a higher level, though. Like, I think where I stand is like we, the four of us, are unique in that we've sort of like designed our lives, you know, to the way that we want to live them is what I think is like unique about us, right? Like, Steven, you like trading crypto. I think you do like looking at this stuff. Like, I like looking at stocks, and I like all the things that I do. I like running this podcast with you guys.
Yeah, I actually think it's like an interesting question of like what is affinity versus like what is addiction, because I think sometimes like you can get
Like you might just be addicted.
lost
You don't even like it, but you're addicted.
yeah, because I think even just taking like a week away from like completely removing myself from it, like I came back and like there were certain things like saw certain things on the timeline and I was just like I don't care, like
Okay,
I don't
so
wanna deal with
that like leads to what I'm trying to say. Is like when you design your life, you actually like doing these things. Like you actually like doing them because you designed your life to be that. But it's burnout when you wake up and you're like, I don't care about that today. Like I don't want to do that today. And that's what I feel like burnout is. It's like the thing that you actually like, you start to not like.
Resent it.
Yeah, not even yeah, it's like might be
Why
too
do you
harsh.
say you're burnt out now?
I have my own reasons, but I was thinking about this. Like inwardly, what I was thinking was like, okay, so this is just a hypothesis. Like I haven't studied this the way you have. Like when you're talking about all these studies and stuff, I haven't heard of any of them. But here's what I think when I look internally. One thing I think is like, it's all about expectation, right? Like, so when you're putting in a lot of work and you're like expecting that work to have a result in some sort of like growth in any areas, like you don't burn out when you see the growth. Like if you're like a new guy working out in the gym, like you start working out and you're like, you have all this enthusiasm, you might do like 2 a days even, and you're going to see like some immediate results and you're like, oh, rad, cool. But then like at some point you hit a plateau and then that plateau happens and then you're like, oh God, like I've been doing this for a long time and like no more gains. And then I think at some point there you might burn out where you're like, shit, it's like not working.
Well, it's simply too difficult. Well, Tony Robbins talks about this. Nick and I really like this piece from Tony Robbins. Is like progress equals happiness. So like without progress, tons of cognitive psychologists say the same thing, but Tony's where we learned it. And without that form of progress, that feeling of progress subjectively, like you just feel like you're spinning your wheels. But what's interesting about that as well is it reminds me of flow. With flow as well, like in order to achieve a flow state, something has to be difficult, but not so difficult to the point where it's slapping you in the face over and over again. Like you don't want to be an amateur playing against Roger Federer. You want to be at 3.5 playing against 4. Is that correct?
Yep.
Like to where you're challenged, but you're not challenged too much.
Right.
It's like a certain percentage higher, but it's in that sweet spot
Right.
where you find your zone. And so when you're in a cycle where like maybe you're fundraising, like me, like I was getting beat up so hard in the beginning, and it's like you're repeatedly going out there and you're just getting no and no and no and no. Oh, and I'm not giving you any feedback, and the feedback I give you is bullshit. It's not even real feedback. So you're not learning. There's no feedback loop. And that can make you burnt out very quickly. So I 100% agree with you.
And yeah, to your point, but to make it more personal, right? Like I think I'm getting burnt out on like stock trading, options trading, and everything. Like you know, over the last like year or so, we were killing it, right? Like every call we made, fucking crushing. Like Coinbase up 700%. You know, like it's been fucking great. And like you just grind on that, and it's like that's like the early days in the gym where you're getting easy gains, and now it's kind of like it's been a little bit of plateauing, and I think that's part of like, well, maybe I should recalibrate my expectations, you know, like if I get 15% annualized, like that's a good return, you know, and like maybe I just need to like breathe a little bit, and I don't need to fucking grind so hard, and it's like that can be fine too. And that's kind of what I'm feeling.
I mean,
That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, well,
definition.
The problem is like in a prior life, I didn't have a podcast. I didn't have like a Twitter. I didn't have like a Discord channel, right? So if I was like tired or something, I would just kind of stop doing it.
And then you wouldn't have anything else to deal with.
And it was, but it's not even so much that like I have other stuff to deal with. It's just like this is the first time in my life where I felt like I just always had to have like an opinion. I had to know what's going on, like because like people were like, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And I was just like, "Well, I have to think." So like I would just always just be like, "I have to have an opinion. I have to know what's going on." And like after a while, like I just like stopped like naturally kind of taking breaks because like I had this other forcing function that I didn't have before. And then like I just kind of like redlined too much in doing that, you know?
Yeah. Nick, you're a notoriously hard worker. Like you've always worked hard ever since like, you know, Kumon, you know, we
Young
both did
Nick with
that.
his
I think
glasses on.
I only
Yeah.
lasted like 2-3 years. I think you did it for many more. So like all the way through high school to college to everything that you've done in your entrepreneurial career. Have you ever had like real burnout or how would you even define it if not? Like,
I think this like burnout concept is like snowflake nonsense.
Yes, I knew that was
I
coming.
knew
Like,
exactly. I
give me
was
a
setting him
fucking
up for it.
Like this is like a new word we came up with that like all the generations before us have felt, and they persevered nonetheless. Like you have your own decisions that you can make or not make. You're a man. You have a job to do. Your job is like create a family, provide for them, and like build your empire, whatever that means to you. And the best way to get through burnout is to get more shit done. And like if you're doing the wrong stuff, then do different things to get there. But like I just like I don't really like falling into that like, oh, I mean, what are the symptoms of burnout? Oh yeah, I have 7 out of 10 of those. Like I'm weak and I lose my agency, and I don't like that. And so I just kind of like the cure for like stress is to like get more done, you know? And
which matches perfectly with how you've always done things, and it makes sense. Like you don't, you know, Dale Carnegie has this book called I think it's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living.
yeah, I know, I've heard of that. I've never
He's
read
sort
that
of
one.
underrated for that one.
Yeah, extremely underrated.
What's the one he's known for? How to Win Friends and
How to Win
Influence
Friends.
People?
Yeah, good
and
perennial.
influence people.
Dale
But
Carnegie.
I have to say, the worry book was it's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And I remember when I first read it, he was like, the cheapest medicine available to all human beings is work and stay busy. It cures you of all mental, physical ailments of any kind. Whatever you have dealing with in your life, if you can find a way to have a focus and stay busy, it will cure everything. That's that old school thinking that you're alluding to. That's that mentality of like, take the world, put it on your shoulders, and go.
It's kind of like a face palm for me, dude. This is that I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like if you think like Steven, for instance, you would say like Dale Carnegie would say like, just more charts, man, more charts. Like,
Well,
that's
it
what
may
you
be
would
a
say.
different,
It's
maybe a
fucking-
different
Yeah,
like
what
method.
What Nick, look, I take offense to what Nick just said right here. It's just so
I almost
fucking
specifically
ridiculous.
point you out to say no offense, but like
It's just so
also
ridiculous.
you're not the only one who gets stressed out. Like your specific type of
I'm not
work is
stressed
like
out. If I dropped you into a world where it was like, okay, Nick, I'm going to force you to like write like a newsletter and do a recording on the latest things happening in e-commerce for 4 fucking years straight, and you're not gonna make any money off of it, and you're just gonna keep doing it over and over and over again. At a certain point in time, you'd probably be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. You wouldn't be like, you know what, Steven? I decided I just have to make another podcast.
No,
I just
yeah.
have to make 3 newsletters. No, you just be like, actually, I'm kind of fucking tired.
And the
I
moment-
probably need a break.
The moment you don't want to do it anymore, you know what your medicine is?
Yeah.
Do more.
Just do more. It's
fuck
so
off.
silly.
Like I could literally call in like
this version of
Nick's just like, you know, like I just don't understand. Like I just do more things and I make more money.
Well, don't be
And
an
often
idiot
they
and do
make
the
me
same
passive
things that
income.
aren't
Like,
working.
I
Like
sleep and they just keep doing.
do different things. I could probably literally call in 50 listeners right now this podcast and be like, hey, was your job stressful? Is it frustrating? Do you ever get in these like moments where like it doesn't seem like it's working? Does it last for years sometimes? And like
Oh my
each
God.
person would call and be like, yes, here's my story. And it's not unique, you know, to
I
each
want
of
to throw
us.
a poll in the
God,
chat.
I agree with.
I want to throw a
both
poll
of-
in the chat.
Both sides of
Who
this.
here has felt burnt out in their work? Is it going to be 50-50?
And they're all gonna be like,
agree
yes.
with both sides of these
So
perspectives.
feeling of burnt out is reasonable.
Yes, because like think about stress
But
or
you
like
call
the,
that
he's
snowflake.
saying your reaction. Yeah, he's saying your interpretation, your perspective to the circumstance, and he's also saying it's not unique. Like that
No,
we
because,
all
like,
have our own
think
versions
about-
of it, which I
think-
can't disagree with.
think about stress and busyness. Everyone has a different scale. It's all relative, right? Like
course.
someone who like works 4 hours a day, be like, you know, I'm so fucking busy.
If you're like chief
so-
of staff for the president or something, it's
Yeah, you
you're
work like 20
different-
hours a week or 20 hours a day.
It's like a different scale.
yeah, so
than-
like everyone has been like, yeah, I've had times where I've been burnt out. And the solution is not to go like live in the dark for like 7 days and you come back and all his shit's built up more. It's like, no, make progress.
Well, does that guy not go on a vacation?
No, go on a vacation. Do your things. Like,
I mean,
live
like,
your
is that
lifestyle the
not
way
a-
you want,
Is that not a medicine? Like,
So your solution is that I need to trade more?
or do it a different way.
well, Dale Carnegie's is what was that book? It was just do more, right?
Do more.
Or
Wasn't that the book?
simplify what you're doing. Like, make it. There are more creative solutions.
What
than
if
just
I
being
were
like,
to simplify by
defend
doing
Dale,
fewer things?
Dale was saying that worry and anxiety is remedied by generally doing and staying busy. That was his perspective.
Can I offer like a different perspective on something? Like, so I was feeling burnt out, which you guys say is not unique to me, right? This is like something that people feel, okay? And here's something that...
Not Nick.
No, Nick said like people do feel this. but
No.
it's
Everyone
true.
No, he said people feel it.
Maybe not Nick.
No, I do feel it, but like,
But
his
it-
response-
yeah,
I
how you,
am
how you
people?
respond is different, right? But like, I want to say that I had an experience over the weekend that I enjoyed that was different than like leaning in and doing more. Okay, so let me just explain this to you guys, and maybe this is instructive or not. But like, I'm a sports guy. Okay, I like sports. You guys may or may not, but I do. And like, I stopped caring about them over the last 2 years because there's other shit to care about that are more meaningful than sports. Okay, like I just kind of got away from myself as I'm like
Yes.
caring about everything.
I burned out on sports a long time ago. I
Okay.
wasn't like, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to do more sports.
Okay, so I've gotten away from it, but this is something I love. So over the weekend, there was I think it was like Saturday or Sunday or whatever. There was 2 Game 7s of the NBA. There was like a bunch of baseball games going on. I go over to my buddy Kyle's house, who you guys know. His dad's a Hall of Fame baseball player. All 3 of us watch sports, and I'm able to talk to a fucking Hall of Fame baseball player about sports, like talking about like not only the
Dude,
sports.
I was reading his thing at the Padres Stadium.
Dude,
last
he's
time I
fucking
was there.
epic.
He's a Hall of Fame like player.
Dude, he's a top 100 of all time.
Yeah,
He's epic.
that's crazy.
And like when we're sitting there, we're not even only talking about the games that are in front of us, but I have like the opportunity to ask him like things about sports that I am like interested on a deep level. Like, so when you're constructing a team, like, you know, there are guys who are like really talented but don't make it, or there's guys who are like obsessed with their craft but aren't as like physically gifted. And like, how do you build a team like in such a way where it's like, what's the perfect blend? And you know, like really interesting topics, you know. And I'm asking about like, I'm also like kind of fangirling at times. I'm like, so you faced Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan. Like, what was the tough at bat? You know, like these are just fun for me. And like that was a moment of reprieve from worrying about fucking Donald Trump and whatever the fuck we're talking about, where like I can just like care about sports because I like him. And like that was fun. And like that wasn't leaning more into work. That was fun.
yeah. And I'll give you an example of like, I've had times where like either it becomes really stressful instantly, or I know the next 3 months is going to be like eating glass. And the do more isn't like do more work. It's like, okay, I know in order to survive this, I need to work. I need to like have a regimented workout routine because like that's what's going to keep me sane through this. So like that might be the do more, like figure out a solution that like works for you. And you know, don't be like, don't back out, like lean into it. And I think that's an example where it's like, you know, you could do something different, but you're doing more effort, you know, to solve the problem. And I just like, I think you should like remove the word burnout from your vocabulary. And it's no different than like, you know, someone from 100 years ago going through the same thing. And that vocabulary didn't exist. So we didn't like be like, oh, well, he's suffering from burnout, so like we should let him.
Yeah, but
we
that's
should let him
because
go.
people were like, they died at like 6 years old. They just caught dysentery on the way to play golf or something. It was just like, it was.
Well, they
like,
forged the river. Shouldn't have done that.
That doesn't.
Cock the wagons and float, baby. Moron.
I think it's so hard for me because like I'm enjoying this conversation so much, and I think you all have like such like true, like I think like all of these things are true that everyone has said, because I think the interesting thing about burnout is that Nick is you're correct that like we've put language to something that didn't exist before, and so now we have the ability to like feel it at all in the first place. Like if you study language, one of the most fascinating things from country to country, language to language is like you don't experience the feeling or the emotion until you can assign words to that experience. like in German, there's like 19 ways of saying melancholy. You know, I'm making it up, but
Yeah.
like there's something like that. Like there's a
It
lot
sounds-
more
sounds
ways,
true, yeah.
a lot more, and in other languages, a lot more ways of describing like these. You know, even in like Scandinavia or like in the Netherlands, that feeling to describe the warmth that you feel, the connection with your friends when you sit in a cozy place. Or
But
blah,
I have
blah,
a question.
blah.
Like you're like chicken or the egg, right? Like you think that you
Sure.
cannot feel it without the words. Like I
Sure.
think you feel
No,
it,
not
and then you have
necessarily.
words that describe it.
Exactly. So I think that it's there. I think the words that you assign to it exacerbate it, though. It do bring it to light. It make it more tangible. It brings form to it. It makes it real.
Well, what do you-
I think the feeling can exist in like a matrix, but it's lost. And until you assign the language to it, it's not actually really
Do you
real.
agree that word, and maybe it's my perception of it, but like to me, the part that gets me the most is it removes the agency part from it. It becomes this like disease or whatever, like it's something happening to you, and
I
that's the
don't.
part I really don't like.
I don't.
about
I
it.
think that the modern like sort of pop science around this is interesting. Even just like to your point, Eric, it's like I haven't read pop science, but this is what I feel. Like your version of that is like 100% valid. I think what people feel when they feel burnout, oftentimes, and I don't mean this toward like any one of your versions of your burnout, and if it's wrong or right. I think what most people feel when they feel burnout is a sense of misalignment, a sense of the feeling that the direction that they're moving in their lives is no longer sustainable. I think, in my experience, to now just like, you know, here's my version of like where I have and haven't felt it. When I have like an outcome that I am in pursuit of, that I'm extremely excited about, no matter how hard it is, if I'm truly passionate about it, I am definitely experiencing the feelings of exhaustion. I'm definitely experiencing the feelings of like, this is very, very hard. And I think I might even be experiencing like quote unquote burnout, but there's something that like continues to rocket fuel me no matter what. Like my head is going through that wall and I'm going to achieve this, or at least see it all the way through. And I think that the difference is that oftentimes we find ourselves, not us, but like people, society in general, find ourselves like in pursuit of things that we didn't sign up for intentionally, or something changed along the way. Our values changed. Our need for that thing changed. And life is just telling you, stop. Like, this is not the thing anymore. Or at least take a moment to like rejigger your orientation toward a different North Star. Because like, if you keep hitting a wall, there are certain times where you have to, it's like in business, like when should you quit versus when is this assigned to work harder? That question is actually very difficult as an entrepreneur. Is this a sign that I'm on the wrong road? Or is this a sign that I haven't learned enough and I don't have the skills to achieve the outcome yet? That line is difficult to straddle. But if you sit with yourself, I think these are spiritual questions. Personally, that's where I land with these types of things, is like the feeling of burnout personally pushes me to sit down in a meditative way and ask myself, like, is what I'm doing genuinely good for me? Is this genuinely true for me? Is this genuinely where I should be orienting my life? And if the answer is yes, then I should probably stop being a baby and push harder, like what Nick is saying. But if the answer is like, actually, I didn't really genuinely intend to be here, then I have to make some really tough choices and move and change and get out of that road that I'm on. And that's hard. And when you do that, you often find that like all of a sudden there's this like relief. And I've been there so many times where I finally build up the courage to like make the change. And then all of a sudden all the weight is gone and new doors open. So I don't know. That's my version and perception of like what burnout means.
Yeah, I mean, just to riff off you for a little bit, like I think one also helpful step is like reacquaint yourself with like why you were doing it in the first place. And like for me, I go back to like a little quarterly spreadsheet and I'm like, why did I choose this as a thing to work on? Like, what's the immense immeasurable pleasure if I'm super successful that I will gain from it? And if I don't do this, what's the immense immeasurable pain that like I'll suffer if I don't accomplish this? And sometimes just getting reacquainted with like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this, you know, like, and like, you know, feel it, visualize it, see what's on the other
It's
side.
insanely true that most people just forget the why sometimes. That's why Simon Sinek is like the most famous TED talk of all time. Like, start with why. Know what you do. And he turned it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise company, is like just going to companies and executives and teams and helping them remember why they started doing it in the first place. It sounds so trite. Start with why. Remember your mission. What's your vision? But it's actually insanely true.
Yeah,
If
have
you
them written
forget
down.
why you're doing what you do in the first place, you don't have a North Star. Like, you need a North Star. But do you think, Nick, because I don't sense that you might agree with this. Like, do you think there are times in life where you're on the wrong road and you got to get off?
Totally.
You do? Okay,
yeah,
you do.
Like, and it may not be like, okay, like I'm doing the wrong things. I just need to reprioritize them. Like, what's first, what's second, what's third, what doesn't matter as much anymore, and be like, okay, now I'm feel better aligned. And then, yeah, other times it's like, okay, time to like cut rope, you know, and that's okay to do, you know.
That's a hard decision.
Yeah, and I don't know how to come to that decision. I don't think it's like a heady decision, like a pro con list. It's like you just sit with it and be like, you know, the answer is like in the gut somewhere. Like it's telling you. What
I think
the
it's all
answer is.
three. I think it's head, heart, gut. So head has all the nuance and all the data and all the reasons. Heart is hot or cold, or you know, like warm. You know, basically.
Yeah.
And the gut is a yes or a no. And if you combine all three in the correct direction, I think you have an answer.
And I think you can ask better questions. You'd be like, okay, how can I make this fun? Like, it's not fun right now, but like, how could I make this fun? Or like, have I tried everything? Like, you could just, you know, ask better questions of yourself and hopefully get to like a better place. Head, heart, gut.
Yeah,
taint.
I think if you align all
Yeah.
three, that's when you. So I don't know. What do you think about burnout now, Steven?
Still tired.
He's fully offended still. He's just offended into silence.
I'll let you have some last words on this topic.
I don't know, man. I just think I need to take a break, and it's fine.
Yeah, that's.
I think
that's
so.
also okay.
But do you think there's anything potentially that you would like to consider realigning, or do you think it's mostly just exhaustion?
I think the realign. Look, I think a lot of what you said is wise and prescient. Some of your finer work, honestly.
Your first good one in a while. He's saying.
Yeah. No, I think the realign. I think the alignment thing is a good point. Like if you're not aligned with what you're doing, you're gonna just feel
exhausted.
What the hell am I doing, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you need to do something to survive, you're never gonna burn out because like you just have to survive, right? It's just
Right.
like this is like one of the paradoxes of, I don't know if it's a paradox, but it's just like a thing that happens when you get older. You maybe you don't need to make money as much anymore because you sort of made it. You don't want to work till like 3 a.m. anymore. Like I used to just like effortlessly like grind to like all night on stuff, and it didn't bother me at all because I was just like so hungry. But I just like hunger for different things now. It's like easier for me to just feel out of like sync with what I'm doing because like I'm not just like when I was like 22, like money was like water to me. I was just like, I just have to drink, right? And that was it. It was just like very simple. And now it's like it's more complicated. So yeah. I mean, yeah, like one of the interesting things I did when I was just like taking a break is like I started like I actually used the
Start knitting.
I used the new ChatGPT for the first time, and I immediately was like, "Wow, this thing is like actually really good now." And I used it to write I'm really interested in maybe opening up a pickleball facility here. It's like one of my new kind of weird ideas I have in my head.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
And
yeah.
I had to just do like financial projections and all this stuff. Like it was super interesting because like I don't know what the hell I was doing, and I was like one of the questions, for example, like I was like, so the lot is this big. How big of a store can I put in? And then like, well, how much money will the store make? And like walk me through that. And it was just like, oh well, you're gonna have 15 courts, and we're gonna the occupancy will be this, and this many people
Isn't
come a
it
day, and
amazing?
and it just like
How
and it
long it would've
showed
taken to do
all
that
of
in
the
the past?
logic, and it was really cool because I could be like,
change.
I think that it was like I think the average ticket will be 15, and I was like, well, no, this is Southern California. I think it'll be higher, right? And it was like, you're right. I think it'll be like 25, I just kept tweaking it.
It's absolutely amazing when you use it.
It was
like
so
what you're
incredible. Like
describing.
it was like 15 minutes, and I had like a whole thing, and I was like, oh my god, and like I actually was, and it was like I felt like that, like ooh, this is interesting, and I just wanted to keep going and doing that. I haven't felt like I was like creating something in a while. It's like a very different feeling when you are like kind of you feel like you're like building something. Like you're not building stuff when you're like looking at a chart. You're just like decoding something. You're decoding something. You're decoding. It's like a different feeling, and that's like very draining. You have like way more stamina when you're like breathing life into something. Like it's a totally different thing, and that's not like something I've felt in a while because like I've just been just
reacting.
Yeah, it's a lot of reacting, and reacting is very exhausting. If all you do is react, for sure.
I think huge part of if I was in your shoes, I would be burned out by the nature of the work itself, 100%, no matter how passionate I was about it. So I definitely think there's something there, but I also think like there is the need to like evaluate sometimes and just reprioritize. But
yeah, before we wrap up, there's some fire in the chat. I want to get some of their comments out. So Grant D. Filippo says, most have been burnt out for a while. The grind of life is real. Inflation has awakened a sleeping giant. People are stretched. Max says, a tired dog is a happy dog. Tyler says, in my head, I have equated burnt out with overtrained. Active rest is key. Tom Nanam agrees that the snowflake burnt out take is the Mickey Mantle gene. A. Franco says, I've been burnt down since I was born. Vibe says, we all deal with it differently. It's not snowflake. Complaining about is meh because we all experience it. So yeah, take breaks, reward yourself, touch grass, set goals, and make sure you're happy. And yeah, definitely have vacations. Grant adds, also sun your taint. Let's see. Chris H says, I didn't know Nick was a psycho.
Really?
Juice says, I think it's all
First
about prioritization. You can't do it all. You have to pick your spots.
First pod, huh?
Let's see. Max says, having hobbies helps. Let's see. I think you can find balance between two things. Tom Nanam says, I feel burnt out when I'm grinding and beginning to experience self-doubt. If you're grinding with confidence, that's my favorite feeling. Carby says, big secret to happiness is just liking stuff. Find more stuff to like, finding ways to like stuff you didn't do before, recognizing what it feels like to like something and double down on that.
What's up, Carby?
Yeah.
Carby, he's a new Discord guy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. New name.
Lurker to active conversion.
Killer
Yes,
introduction.
He's made
Carby.
the
Killer
Yeah.
introduction.
crossover.
And he's here on the live
remember.
now. Gotta love it.
Welcome.
Anyway, so fire from the chat. Thanks, guys, for chiming in.
Damn, so we're 2 hours in. I really
Yeah,
wanted
so-
to get to that other topic.
Yeah, I need
Nick's
to
not
know.
gonna
Like,
let
do
us,
you
I can tell.
do you want to punt this to next time?
I can go another 7 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we do that, like, I am going to wet myself. So,
Dude, let's
Pampers, bro.
can we put it to next
No,
week?
I
or-
Next
think we
week.
can't keep going. Can
Next
we?
week.
It's too
all right,
long.
we'll punt it.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
good
such a
topic,
great
though.
next
But we
topic.
can't like blow our load like when we go somewhere after and like have drinks. We gotta just not.
Yeah, we
talk
will.
about
no.
it.
We'll,
We're not touching
We'll
it.
put
Okay.
it in the box.
All right.
That was a good topic.
Can we tease what the topic is?
Go ahead. Teaser.
It's the how much is luck a component in life?
Are you lucky? Are you just lucky?
Are you just lucky?
Are we all just
or
lucky?
did you just work your ass off?
Yeah. I think
Let's
it's a
find
good.
out.
It's a good thing to
Let's
think
find
about.
out.
We haven't really talked about that too
Episode
much.
193.
Tune in next week.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Eric's gonna be out next week, and I hope he sends
No!
us.
I need you on
Wait,
that.
are you gonna be back in time?
Yeah, I'm gonna be back for Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, you are?
Okay,
Oh my
good.
God,
need
I
you
realized
on
it's such
these
a quick
deep
trip.
ones. We
Yeah,
go
yeah.
one deeper together,
I
bro.
come back on Tuesday.
Okay, can you maybe get some videos of the game and like we could show them on the live stream?
Demonetize you.
Ah, fuck off. Well, anyway, thanks guys for joining us live. If you haven't liked the video already, like it. It helps us out.
If Manu wins, are you going to strip and run on the field?
If Man U wins, they're actually going to be qualified for European competition. It's going to be massive. I am going to celebrate very hard with
Okay.
whoever is around me.
I think we would get at least like 4 new subs if you did that. So please, please think about the fam.
Okay,
Sorry,
guys.
Nick.
Love you lots. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.